Yeah.
Rogan?
Rogan for
Rogan?
president.
Sure.
I'm going to say that right now. We're live.
Oh, we're live now?
We're live.
Yeah, Rogan's
Rogan
the
for
second
president. And in the year 2030, Mr. Kyle Houston for president. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm putting it out there right now.
coming. Calling it.
I think I might be old enough then, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, there
But
you
you gotta be what, 30 what?
That's why I gave you a few
Is it
years.
38 or 36?
20 and 2030, I think it's 35.
35?
Yeah.
It's 35 or 40, I think it's 35.
Because
Can you imagine having a
Obama was only
40 something.
he was in his 40s. Yeah.
40 something.
Yeah, the youngest president was what, Teddy Roosevelt? And Teddy was 42 or 43, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember.
That's
off the top
like
of my head.
that's like 5 years from now for me.
Really?
Yeah. And
Like-
imagine.
It's like, wow, in
Tony
5 years I
Carlisi
could
for a president.
be running the fucking bitch. Like,
I would be afraid.
you know I'd be a damn good president. Don't hate on me.
And what's the first thing you would do as president?
First thing I would do as president,
Oh, yeah.
bend my old lady over in the Oval Office.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, first thing I do, if you want to know political
Hey,
wise,
you know,
it depends on what's legal. And if certain things aren't legal, certain things would be legal within a 24-hour period.
Yeah,
I would annex everybody. I don't give
I
a
would
fuck.
Totally,
I agree.
totally have a, what do you call it? The purge.
The person.
I
Yeah,
make
he's
a
trying to
purge
kill
day.
people.
I make a
Are
purge
you
day.
hearing us okay?
I make a purge day, man.
I just like to have 1 year out.
Okay.
I feel like I'm in a fishbowl and I feel trapped and it affects my breathing. It's weird.
Okay.
You have anxiety. Okay.
Is that what that is?
That's what it's called.
I've been looking for a name for that.
He's like, thanks, just throw it right
Nice.
out there.
Throw it on out there. Now, what ward you running for?
Ward 4.
Now, like, what section of the city is that?
shit.
Are we not live?
We're live on YouTube. Keep going.
Oh, okay.
Let's
I gotta
wait till we
let
get
our
to this.
YouTube listeners get on.
Yeah, we gotta get it because I'm waiting on the Facebook notifications. So I
I
can
will
get in there.
tag you.
I thought I saw the Facebook.
No, that was just for the Wilson name, the promo.
That was for the
Oh,
promo.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
This is 43, right?
43. Yes.
I gotta. Sorry.
Oh, excuse me.
I always forget this part. Stop smoking so much weed, stupid.
I want to see what you look like there. That way I can see if you look good. Maybe you got nice lighting on you. You know what I'm saying?
Is it good?
I am.
Does my hair look okay?
Yeah, you gotta, I'm about to say the cow lick is on point right now.
I've been
The lick is on point right now. Ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying?
When I was younger, it was
Houston? H-O-U-S-T-O-N?
Really, that's me.
Okay.
How? H-O-U-S-T-O.
Okay, I just want to make it, because when I do this, it doesn't tag it. It's weird.
Yeah, just like the city.
How you how serious are you about the insurance thing?
You want
Yeah.
And now we are live.
We're live on Facebook now?
We are live on Facebook.
Hello,
What-
Facebook.
What's going on, Tumblers? We've got a special podcast today. Dun, 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 dun. Introducing the new Section 4,
Ward 4.
Ward 4 councilman
Candidate
candidate.
for council.
I'm just going to call you councilman.
Yeah, he's gonna win.
Mr. Kyle Houston, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, well, I'm all about that visualization stuff, positive thinking. I've become a big believer in all that. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and I guess
Think
you
it,
wanna
see
say-
it, dream it.
Yeah, that's right. Now, listen, am I not talking into the mic?
Yeah, actually, I can't even hear you.
Is it not working? Should I be using this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's your mic.
Pardon
There
the
we go.
interruption.
I'm going. Wait a minute.
There we go.
Pardon
There.
the interruption.
I can hear it. Just tighten everything up if
Yeah.
as you need be.
I'm good now.
You good?
Okay.
Yeah, you guys hear me fine now?
Yes,
hear
and I
you
can hear you. I'm like,
Great.
you sounded very quiet.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're not professionals by any means. We try to be.
Man, he
but-
looks so professional in this suit right now. He
I
killing the
know.
game right now.
Well, it's this is how I dress. You've known
Yeah, I
me for
see.
many years.
All year round.
All
That's
year
what you got
round.
on.
It's easier in the wintertime. A lot easier in the wintertime. In the summertime, you really have to.
It takes some dedication.
It does take dedication. I've really. I've become. It's really weird because I'm. What is it? Cold natured. No, warm natured.
Cold
I get
natured.
warm real easy.
So you're hot natured.
Hot
yeah.
natured.
yeah.
Okay, so I get hot real easy, and so it's surprising to me. I don't really have much of a problem. I don't sweat very much when I wear these, though.
What?
But I'll tell you what. I walk into a room. I walk into the office all the time, and everybody in the office likes to keep it 76 degrees. 76.
That's a little warm for me.
It's very warm. I walk in and I go and it's a battle all day. When I'm
Yeah.
there at 70, because I want it at least at 72. But
Yeah.
I'd really like it. I sleep at around 68, 69. That's what,
That's
what you need.
I'm at
That's what I
63.
sleep on.
63.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
sleep,
wow,
I
that's
sleep
pretty
I
good.
sleep at 69.
When I'm in hotels,
with the
I-
sheet, naked. Taking a fuck.
When-
Yeah.
well, this is that's
Thanks for the visualization.
that's
You see what I look like when I wake up.
Thanks. No thanks.
I swear, if you give me a lantern, I could have my own teepee underneath.
Listen to
that
this guy.
motherfucker.
Listen to this guy.
so.
But anyways,
Yeah, it's I don't blame you. When I'm in a hotel, I keep it really cold.
Yeah, put
I
that
usually
thing
go
on
into
chill.
60. Yeah, I go all the way down when I'm in a hotel, just all the way down as
well,
low as
simply
it'll let me
because of the
go.
fact that hotels are nasty, and you want to try to
Yeah, I've got
deactivate anything that
that's
might
right.
be in there.
Sterilize.
Yeah.
I
If
try
it's
and
cold,
freeze
it can't
everything
get
out.
up.
Yeah. I try to freeze the bed bugs so they don't move.
I like to go there in blissful ignorance, just knowing, you know what? I don't think nothing's wrong with this room. It's just like,
Yeah, no, you've
Fool
got
myself.
to. Yeah, you've got to get because I heard that they don't even wash the
don't say it. I don't know what you're gonna say, but just don't.
the comforters. You know, they can't wash those comforters. You're supposed to turn them down and
Yeah, just
Yeah.
use the
not really
sheet.
use the
That's
sheets.
why they have the under blanket and the sheet.
Yeah, I had never known that, but
Wow.
it's difficult for them. I mean, I could, I'd hate to. I don't want to trash any of the hotels out there. I mean,
I
if I'm
finished
wrong,
on so many comforters.
but I read it. You what?
I finished on so many
And
comforters.
you probably drooled while you're sleeping on other people's DNA.
Probably.
Yeah, ha,
Probably.
ha,
And some
ha.
of you.
No, because I pulled that fucking thing down. I used the under blanket.
You turn
and,
it. You
You
turn
didn't
down.
always do it.
Yeah,
You didn't
I
always
absolutely always do
do it. Man,
it.
come on.
Really?
All right.
Absolutely.
See, I
You
used.
was
Hey,
all
but
young and dumb one
I won't
day.
stay at a dumb hotel. I
I
won't.
well,
I
I
can't.
You won't stay. You don't
I
like
won't stay at a motel.
Red Roof Inn. You don't like Red
Nope.
Roof. I've stayed at a Red Roof. I've stayed at a Red Roof, and I won't do it again.
Well, like when I lived in California, I did a lot of construction. We did concrete, and we did a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
To where we'd spend months in a motel. With they have a little
Right,
kitchenette
right.
and shit in it, and it's just it's like this is where people go when they're homeless. type
I've heard
thing.
about those. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like now that I don't have to do it,
Yeah, why?
I don't care if it costs $200. I am not staying.
Well, exactly.
What is the most expensive hotel you ever stayed? I got mine.
$205.
Oh, man. I was in Atlanta. I went to, what is that? The Westin. The
Yeah,
Westin.
I stayed
was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
$593 for a night.
Fuck that.
Yeah, it's expensive there. It's
It was
great though.
crazy. It was like floor 660 something.
Yeah.
I was really high up. I got those pictures on Facebook and everything.
Yeah, I
Have you guys
stayed-
ever?
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you're
Sorry.
good.
Have you guys ever been to the Loft?
To the Loft. Where's that at?
They got one in Raleigh.
That's a
Durham.
hotel.
Yeah, it's a hotel.
No, I've never been.
Really
I don't think
nice.
I've been. I've stayed at a lot. I've stayed at a lot of hotels. I forget the names, because
Yeah.
I stay at hotels frequently. I have stayed at the Westin recently, which is great. And they have the concierge.
Which one were you at? You was in Charlotte or were you
No, Atlanta.
in Atlanta? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so we stayed in the same spot.
All States regional headquarters is in Atlanta, and so they put us all up in the Westin for our annual meeting.
See, all State
Annual
got
regional.
Atlanta.
Oh yeah, and but anyway, you go to the concierge and they'll give you the passcode for one of the speakeasies downtown Atlanta.
Ah.
So it's really, and the speakeasy is incredible. It's called Red Phone Booth, and it's literally in downtown Atlanta. And you go. What they do is they give you a phone number.
Yeah.
And so what you're supposed to do is you go, you find the red phone booth. Once you walk into the phone booth, you dial the number they gave you. Someone picks up and they say, "You want to come inside?" And you say yes. You hang up the phone, and then the back of the phone booth opens up
What?
into the speakeasy.
What?
So
Nice.
it's expensive, about $20 a drink, but it's one of the
Yeah.
nicest places down there. I mean, it's just
like-
incredible, and it's just
But
like
it
this
sounds some
exclusive environment.
Secret, backdoor spy shit. or something.
Yeah, it's a
You ever-
gentleman's club.
You ever watched
Like a real gentleman's
Yeah.
club.
John
right.
Wick? Where they just got the little,
Yeah.
they don't have currency. They have the little
Yeah.
golden coins.
Yeah, they do the incense. They do like incense. Whenever you order your drink, of course, it's all great. I mean, it's all like old school stuff. You feel like you're a bit back. Well, I mean, I never lived in the 20s, obviously.
But it's got
The roaring 20s has that feel. If you ever watched shows like Boardwalk Empire, did you ever watch Boardwalk Empire?
Yeah.
Great show. But it feels kind of like that environment. You walk in, they got the cigars and the incense going and everything, and it's just nice.
Man, you're gonna have to take me one time you go. I want to go.
Yeah. I'm gonna. Well, I.
Well, if you start working for him, you can go.
That's right.
I'm working on working for him. We're gonna talk about that later on.
He wants to be a good hands guy.
Yeah.
He,
I don't know what that means, but
the good hands.
As long as it doesn't mean what that guy said,
The-
I'm good with that.
It doesn't mean that. No, it's the good. They call them the good hands people, because that's the Allstate logo. Good hand. Are you in good hands?
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know
gotcha.
the guy that comes on TV. Are
Wow,
you
I
in good
need to
hands?
write that down. I just got a great.
They've got main.
Awesome.
Are we
Allstate.
contributing to your mayhem or your
Your comedy?
Yeah,
your comedy
you really
routine?
are right now. Allstate. Good
Sir,
hands.
you are welcome, and if you blow up, I'm gonna need $20 for that job. I'm cheap. Give me a
That's
bill.
right. Royalties, please. Keep in mind that the Good Hands is trademarked by Allstate, so just
Okay.
be careful in your jokes.
I'm thinking something along the lines of bought insurance from this lady because she jerked me off.
Oh my
Sounds
goodness.
Something like that.
Masturbation joke?
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be she good hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
She said,
with you.
You're in good hands.
they didn't tell me this was not a child-friendly podcast.
No.
I hope you didn't invite
This
any
is
children
the
to watch
internet.
this podcast, bro.
We can do.
You've
what
never
we
seen
want.
one of our podcasts?
No, well, of course I've seen your podcasts. Of course.
Okay, so what are
You
you?
should've
why you
known.
No, I
it's
knew.
going
I was just
crazy.
joking. I'm joking.
Okay.
I knew it was going to be something like this, but
Oh, let me let you in on a little secret. When I look at you like this, I'm not mad. I'm trying to focus on you.
are you?
This is just how I look.
Well, I was.
So don't
did
don't
you
be
notice?
like,
did
don't
you
be like
notice
I'm
me?
taking offense
Did
to
you
it.
notice me giving you the look back? I was like, what are you?
Yeah, I'm like, no. This
Are we
is
gonna have a problem this early
You're
in the
like-
podcast?
just how I look.
RBF, like resting bitch face, yeah, resting angry guy face or something.
Yeah, pretty much. So this is just how I look. As long as I'm smiling,
Yeah,
I
you're
know I
good.
kind of look like a psycho, but as long as I'm smiling,
No,
we're
no.
fine.
Kinda.
You don't look like a psycho.
But
I've seen a few.
Speaking of your company in Allstate, I'll let you know, let you guys in on a little secret. I just
Never look at the
switched-
camera.
Which I switched.
Never look at the camera.
I gotta look at the camera.
Don't
I
look at the
just
camera.
switched. I switched to Allstate here recently, and it's saving me a lot of money. If I calculated up like over a year's time, it's probably gonna be I think about $240.
$240. That's big money. That's enough to almost buy a PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad we were able to save you money. Who helped you? That was Preston that helped you out,
No,
right?
Preston helped me out.
Yeah,
Mr.
Preston.
Watson, damn it, get up on us.
Yeah, Preston's
Be
great.
with you.
Get in
Great
touch
battler.
with Preston. We went black over there. What's going on?
Yep. Go ahead. Don't worry about that. I got this.
Happens frequently. Keep going.
Can they still hear us?
Yeah, they can still hear us.
They can still hear you.
It happens every half an hour. We're already half an hour into this.
DSLR. Go ahead. Keep going.
What does the DSLR mean?
I'll explain it when I come back. Would
You-
you like anything else to drink?
No, I think I'm good on the water at the moment. Whiskey? You have whiskey? What kind of whiskey? I'll try a little bit of whiskey, sure.
Give me your glass.
All right. Well, here, let me
water
finish
up.
it. Let me finish this up. Bye.
You good, bro?
Thank you. It's
No,
the
I'm good right here.
it's the Empty Tumbler project, so I've got to play.
You gotta empty the tumbler.
Oh, I've got to help him empty the tumbler. I'm not going to empty it,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'll do it. I'll play a good sport here. So anyway,
Preston got me right on both car insurance and renter's insurance, because if you're renting someone, you got it. At least
you got to
I know
have
it
renter's
says
insurance.
You gotta have it.
Do you know
It's a requirement.
it's surprising to me how many people don't have renter's insurance in
I don't
Statesville.
think you can not have renter's insurance anymore.
Well, landlords are supposed to. Well, I
Required.
mean, if you're a smart landlord, they require it in their lease typically.
Right.
And unfortunately, but there's a lot of people. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of people. We find a lot of people that just don't have it, and I don't know how you could. I mean, I've personally
It's cheap as fuck.
always had it. Yeah,
It's cheap. Like
yeah,
super cheap.
Yeah, it can be as low as like $7 or $8 a month.
Yeah, I got like a pretty good policy.
Yeah,
Like mine's pretty high because
you got enough
I've got
property
two,
coverage.
Yeah, I've got 2 PlayStations, a bunch of TVs.
Oh, yeah.
And a bunch of
Yeah, you gotta have it.
Firearms.
Well, in my short life, I've been robbed twice. Once in Statesville, once
Really?
in Charlotte. Yeah.
I've never been robbed in my life.
You've never been robbed?
Never ever. I'm very large and physically intimidating.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, like shit. I'm a big dude. I don't know if you can tell. I'm like 6'1", 340 something. I'm a huge guy.
Yeah.
And it's not all fatty either. So I'm fat, but I'm not like super mega ultra fatty. So
We were going to get into a life insurance discussion here soon, right?
yeah. But I don't, people usually don't bother me. And if you know anything about me or know somebody who knows me, you know that 9 times out of 10,
Right.
I got some fire on me.
Yeah,
Like-
which is a great Second Amendment, baby.
Second Amendment all day, man.
That's right.
I can't stand like this is becoming a personal pet peeve of mine. When people's like, I mean, you need to put more restrictions on buying guns and put more regulations on this, more restrictions on that. I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, like how many
Is
people
that
like?
just whiskey?
Huh?
Is that just
No, it's
whiskey?
Jack Coke.
Okay, good. All right.
I'm like, how many people like break the speed limit?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so like if you want to put restrictions on stuff, why do cars go faster than 85 miles an hour?
Well, like for example, that may not be the case for very much longer, actually.
What?
These.
Cars dying down, but you know what's gonna happen? Criminals are gonna go and make their cars go faster.
Oh, of course. Well, I mean, they'll try and hack. I mean, I remember back when I had, like for example, you remember the PSP, the PlayStation Portable?
Yep.
The little one.
Got one.
You got one, and the Wii even. I hacked that and the Wii, because it was obviously back when I was younger. You could get free
some games.
games. Yep, free games, and but yeah, I mean, that used to be what I did. And as these cars now, they're starting to hack these cars, like the
Like the
Teslas.
Tesla.
Yeah, the Teslas,
Yeah.
for example. And so they've been hacking those, and Tesla will actually pay like a bounty if you're able to successfully hack it, because they want to be able to patch all of these holes.
Oh.
But it's like one of my.
Kind of like what they did with the
So have you been
what's the name
trying?
hackers.
No, I don't hack anymore.
It's like what they used to do with dark web hackers.
Yeah,
The government started paying dark web hackers
exactly.
to hack their system and then patch it and stop other hackers.
Yes, it's a very smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Google does it. They all have these bounty programs, and you can do that. But
It's like, go to jail. We caught you. Go to jail or help us.
right.
You know.
I think that's a brilliant thing, and but they're going to start hacking these cars, because I think theoretically, as we get into automated driving,
Yeah.
you have automation coming, and of course my cars can already do a lot of driving on its own.
Right.
They may at some point send a patch. Well, I mean, for example, if it's an autopilot, it won't go faster than 5 miles over the speed limit
Okay.
on local roads. It just won't go over it. Systematically, it won't let me do it unless I take it off of autopilot.
And man,
And we may get to the point soon. I mean, it could happen, 5-10 years,
Yeah.
where the government says, look, you've got to have a vehicle that drives itself, because for safety reasons, which
Right.
it is
I think it's going to be a
extraordinarily
choice.
safe. You think so?
is
I think
it
it's gonna be a
safer, you
choice.
think?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
it's going to be a choice, and what we actually, I think we talked about this on the last podcast, is it's going to be, you know how they have the HOV lane
Yeah.
now?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lane for
Autopilot.
the rest of the rest of the highway is going to be at first. The rest of the highway is going to be people that drive their own cars,
Right.
and then there'll be an HOV lane for the people
Right.
that are self-driving cars,
Right.
because they're not going to be able to. They're going to put up electronic sensors and shit 50 years from now to make sure nothing happens on the road. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
But
I'm
at
not
beginning,
down with that.
and then within a 10-year period, the cars are 10, 20-year period, the cars can become cheaper
Mhm.
and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and everybody's going to be able to buy one. Oh, man, I wish I could sit backwards and sleep while my car takes me to da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Cheaper
Oh,
and
I
cheaper.
love that.
And then the HOV lane's going to get bigger. Before you know it, there's going to be one lane for people that drive their own cars, and if you get caught driving with the automated cars, you get a fat fine.
Yeah.
Get
And then
caught-
they're just going to kind of weed it on out.
Well,
There's
you-
Ford,
See,
Chevy,
given the whole idea
all that shit's
of
gonna
the
move
hacking
to it.
and how hacking was like so popular, and,
Uh-huh.
and like hacking now is popular. That's why I can't get down with the whole automatic driving car. You just sit back and nap while your car takes you where you want to go.
Yeah.
It's like one, you're lessening people's attention span, and two, like hackers.
Well, the
They
thing
can
is
just
I don't
cause
think it's
havoc.
necessary. I think what it's going to do is it's going to free up people's time to do things that are less monotonous. So what I mean by that is, it's a monotonous task to have to sit there and pay attention to driving on the road. It's really, quite frankly, in my opinion, a waste of time. for somebody that's I try to be productive. I mean, if I leave my office for 4 hours, I come back, I have 40 or 50 emails. Okay, if I could drive and constantly be on top of that, it would save me. I mean, that's incredible for me. It's an
Absolutely.
incredible benefit. So I think it's going to bring benefits in that regard. I mean, do things that are creative. For example, he can write his comedy skits.
Yeah, there could be. They can make a van, rip all the seats out of it,
Yeah.
and it could be a gym.
Mm-hmm. So you can be training on the way down. We may live in a very mobile society. Well, the nice thing about the Tesla, for example, is not only that it drives itself, but also the electric, so you can do a lot of traveling. And it's really a joy to be able to get on the highway and just let it do the work. You still have to. It's still beta. It's not. You're not
Right.
supposed to go to sleep when you're doing it with the Tesla, but it's just such a. It's really made driving for me enjoyable again. I didn't enjoy driving. I was getting to the point where I was like, I want to hire a driver or start Ubering everywhere if I could, because it's just it was getting to the point where it stresses you out.
I'm on the exact opposite.
Really?
I like driving.
Do you really?
Especially my Avalanche. I have an Avalanche.
Well, then why don't
And-
you have a CDL, bro?
No, I don't like driving.
You
I
like driving?
my Avalanche.
He likes driving. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Not
really
big
like-
trucks.
I really like driving my Avalanche. I don't like driving my wife's car. I don't
Right.
like driving nobody else's car. When I'm in my Avalanche, I am comfortable. I am good. We can go 1,000,000 miles and not stop.
Yeah.
I'm good.
So you gonna keep your
Avalanche.
Avalanche for the rest of your life?
My new car will probably another Avalanche.
Do they still make those?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know they still make
It's like a little short. It's not. It's a truck, kind of a truck SUV sport mix, but because it's only like an 8 foot bed.
them. Not
6
even
foot
that.
bed.
It's like
Six foot.
yes, maybe 6 foot.
Six, maybe 5.5, 6 foot bed, short bed, and it's like a SUV, 6 high off the ground. It's you can get the full size. It's a wonderful vehicle. Chevy's the best.
No, it's not. But anyways,
Wonderful vehicle.
Chevy. I do like Chevy. I do have to agree.
Chevy's way
Chevy
better than
was
Ford.
Chevy was
I would.
Ford
I would.
sucks.
Yeah, I'm not a
Ford
Ford. I'm not a
sucks.
Ford
fuck
fan.
Ford.
Okay. I'm gonna text Julius right now just to see if he's a Ford fan or not. This might change the whole rhetoric of
Is
this
it?
podcast. Real quick.
Are we getting comments over there that I'm seeing on Facebook Live?
Yeah, we get comments. I try not to. I
You-
thought, oh, poor Kyle.
Did someone say, "Oh, poor
That
Kyle"?
was Kirby.
Kirby. Hey, John.
What's up, Preston?
Oh, Preston's in.
Preston's in. Julius Simpson. You and AR.
Get in there.
And Justin McCoy.
All right. Well, hello to.
Tristan Moss. What's up, Tristan? Hope to see you Monday, bro. And what's up, Pop Bear? If you're still here.
Greetings, Tumblers.
Greetings to all the viewers. Yeah, that's
Greetings, Tumblers.
glad we have
Whoa,
people
what
on
am I
here. Now.
doing? My shit's
Now we
going
might be able to
pretty
start
good.
talking about something interesting now that people are watching.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
but see, you know the big thing
No, we-
about this podcast
Uh huh.
is we might have maybe 5 listeners the entire live show.
Really?
But a lot of people can't stop right now and watch what the fuck
Oh, of
we're
course
doing.
not. Yeah.
But within 2 days, it'll be well over 300 views.
Well, you've really made it big when people start chopping it up into topics. You know.
Oh yes, and absolutely. I got some good news.
You know, like
he just got excited.
you got excited about
I got
something.
excited.
What is
Okay.
it?
Okay. A guy that I know wanted to follow the podcast. The fighter that I was telling you about. He followed me, and he's going to be on the podcast.
Okay.
Really? Okay.
And I was like, just look up the Empty Tumbler on Facebook. He's like, okay. So he just handed me his phone, and I typed in empty. Nothing. We didn't pop up, but I put, as soon as I hit T, we're the first one.
Oh shit.
Empty T.
Empty T.
We're right there.
Yeah, we were the
Oh,
first
shit, man,
one.
we getting
Dude, we were the first
You're getting
one.
promoted
Yo,
now.
we getting there.
And there's a
The-
lot of empty
the-
T's. There's
the-
probably over 100,000 of them.
The social media gods are shining down
Right
on
there.
you.
Yes. Yes.
Right there. I was like, I got so
Praise
excited. I was
Facebook.
like,
Praise
look at this,
YouTube.
look at this. And he's just looking at me like, what's wrong? I was like,
Good Lord, Spotify.
Just don't do anything conservative or anything like that, because then they start to push down your ratings. From what I understand, that's what they're saying
They
anyway.
really do, man. Like, listen.
well, we just do what we do.
I'm
Yeah.
not a hardcore conservative.
You are, or you're
I'm
not?
not.
You're
I'm
not.
not a hardcore conservative. I have lots of conservative views and lots of libertarian views, which is why I
Good.
don't. Which is why I don't
That's
like the fact that it's that, like the whole feeling of it is a us versus them narrative.
Right,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yep.
Because that's just not, that does not represent the normal American.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. It does, unfortunately.
You think so?
Our
Most
political
people
system.
are hard left or hard right?
Our political system.
I mean, like actual people, not the political system. Actual
No, I think
people.
when you actually talk to people, you typically. I'm always able to find common ground with even what I would consider the most great,
hardcore libertarian, or
hardcore liberal, hardcore conservatives. I'm
conservative.
always able to find some common ground with them. But I'm a libertarian, and maybe that's what it takes to have that kind of connection. I'm libertarian through and through.
Right.
So you're not Republic?
Yeah, I'm a registered Republican. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a registered
So,
Republican.
Can you explain the whole, what's the difference between Libertarian, Republican, Democrat, blah, 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 blah?
Absolutely. Okay, so a Republican typically very fiscally conservative and very socially conservative. So
Okay.
what that means is to be a conservative is they don't like to see extreme change. For example, so with
The way it is, the way it's
They're
going to be, is the way it's going to go.
right.
Traditionalist, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about it. And from an economic perspective, they typically like to they're very free market or capitalistic in nature.
Right.
Which in my view, more so capitalistic because or corporatist, I would say you could say that about the Republicans and the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
They prefer a corporate structure of an economy.
Yeah.
Let me
A
interject.
boss,
Let me interject
Go
real
ahead.
quick.
Go ahead.
When it comes to, I agree with that aspect of economics,
Right.
because with this particular social structure of economics have produced more rags to riches story than
Exactly.
any other.
Yep.
So
And we'll talk about mine here soon. Of course,
Yeah.
I'm not riches, but we're
Yeah, but he's
well,
definitely
rags
no
to
rags.
well off. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
But they say, oh, you want to change to this and change to that, but if we do all this changing, then the rags to riches stories are going to start to dwindle, because there's kids who grew up dirt poor or even come from other countries,
Exactly.
come dirt poor, come here, and because of our economic system and capitalism,
that's right.
they become very, very, very successful, and you don't see that around the world.
You don't see it
You really don't.
you don't see it in socialist countries because they penalize you for being successful. I mean, you got to think of it that way. I mean, I know they don't like they would deny it if you said that. We're not trying to penalize success.
Right.
But that's exactly what they're doing when they say, well, they cap your wealth. And so the inspiration for a lot of people that are in business is to make more and more money and provide for your family. And
Sky's the
we were
limit.
just talking earlier. I don't know if we were live on Facebook. We were talking about the hotel. Were we? I guess we were. Maybe we were. But the hotels, for example, the nice hotels. And once you stayed in a nice hotel, like the Westin or anything else, even if it's a $200 a night hotel,
Yeah.
$250, $260 and above, you don't want to go. You don't want to ever stay in a hotel
less than
less than that
Yeah.
again.
Unless you find a great deal on like Hotels.com.
No, well,
You know what I mean? 'Cause
You know,
every once in a while that shit pops up. You're like, "Hey, saving some money today.
once you've been pampered, it's really it's
Yeah.
hard to let go of that lifestyle. I mean,
Right.
and I think it's something that people should strive for. I think we're building a society where we've pulled more people, at least this economic system that the Republicans and other people that are fiscally conservative advocate for. The free market system
Right.
has, like you said, it's pulled more people out of poverty as a whole than any other system of government,
Right.
or any other system
Exactly.
of economics.
Absolutely. Now back to what I was asking you to do.
Compare
'Cause
the
I don't
two.
even know where this went. I was just like, explain
The
what
differences
those
between the
words
Democrat-
mean.
The
'Cause
Republican,
I don't really know.
Republican, you don't know what it. You're
I
talking
know
about
what
that
a
word.
Republican is.
Yeah,
I have
okay.
a vague
Talking about
idea.
libertarian and conservative.
Libertarian,
Libertarians.
conservative.
Okay.
What's the other one? You got Democrat. You got
All right.
socialism.
Democrat
Right.
and libertarian usually are grouped together, and Republican and conservative are usually
Yeah. So
grouped together.
so you've got the party.
Okay.
So you've got, for example, the Republican Party, the Democrat Party. You've got the Libertarian. They have a little independent party. You have independents. Those are the big ones. Then you have the philosophy behind the party. Okay, so you have conservatives typically
Their
aligned with
thinking
Republicans.
abilities.
Yeah, that's what they believe in as far as their political philosophy. You have the conservatives typically align with Republicans.
Okay.
And then you typically have your more, well, here lately anyway, you typically have your more socialistic viewpoints in the Democrat Party. Now,
Yeah,
some Democrats
socialism.
don't like that. The Democrat Party hasn't always been like that.
Yeah.
But they are a little more liberal too. Liberal is another term that they use. They associate with the.
What does liberal mean?
Liberal means that they are. Another term they like to use is progressive. Like
Yeah.
they like to
Okay.
see.
They advocate change even if it's stupid.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna start talking politics here. So when you say these words, I want to know
What
the
we
fuck
mean.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Well, so
I'm a felon. I can't vote.
are you serious? Well, you're not in my ward anyway, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah. So, you know what, dude? I'm doing right now. Right now, I'm doing way more for you. Than
Yeah, that's
casting a
right.
vote. You
That's
get what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah, that's right. And I truly appreciate it. It's fantastic. But
And it's a shame that Julius Hoke wasn't able to show up,
no, he said.
even though I did text him Thursday, which I talked to you
Was it Thursday?
Wednesday. I talked to you
or
Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I texted him. He never even answered me back. Never said, "Oh, I'm not going to be able to make it. I got a kid's birthday party," or nothing. Just
Well, you presented it to him as a debate with me, right?
yes.
You said, "Do you want to debate?
It was exact
You
same.
want to debate Kyle?" I mean, it's not. I'd be afraid of me too, honestly.
He didn't want none, Kyle.
He didn't want.
But no. This filters back to when we were on Wham Radio with you.
Yeah.
Is when I said I'd text him, and he just never texts me back.
Yeah.
He ghosts me, and then he acts like
He
he forgot.
ghosted you.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, my bad.
I was trying to get these
And then
guys
he's like,
on.
I'd love to have you guys on the
He
Tuesday
ghosted.
thing. And I was like, let me talk to Anthony. And then I ghosted him, never texted him back.
Yeah.
Sorry, we could have been there, but
You know, you guys
I'm
just
good,
need.
bro.
You know, the thing is.
GFY, bro.
So you
GFY.
know- you
Go
know-
fuck yourself.
Well, the thing about I really like Julius as a person. He's a good guy, and him and I actually agree on a lot of issues. We really
Okay.
agree on a lot. I wouldn't say we agree on everything, but we agree on a lot. But if I had to see anybody, if it weren't going to be me, I'd prefer it be him over the other two people that are running against me in Ward 4.
absolutely.
The other two are more in that progressive mindset, at least based off of their voting history. One thing that surprised me, by the way, you can look up people's voting history.
Yep.
I looked up Julius's. He's only voted in 4 elections.
Huh?
4.
Well,
Can
for
you believe
council
that?
or
Recently. Total. That's all I saw. I mean, I could be wrong, and I don't want to, drag Julius's name through the dirt here, but only 4
Oh,
times.
and let me get.
Since 2016, I think.
Yeah, but maybe he just hadn't seen anything. He's like, well, I can't.
Now, finally, he's inspired.
Yeah, you can't choose between the evil. Well, but you,
I love the implication right there. That was
but you
smooth.
can't. Sometimes you can't choose which betters of the two evils.
No, bro, that was smooth.
No.
bro. I don't know if you missed it, but that was smooth as hell.
Did
Did you catch that? Did you catch that implication
you,
right
buddy.
there? Shit was crazy. All right. All right, Kyle, pump shots.
No, the thing is, though, the beauty of voting, like in a primary election, for example, is you get to choose the evil you're voting for.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
choose the
So-
lesser of two
A
evils.
lesser evil, yeah. And I mean, I hate that that's what you, but sometimes you've got to do that.
Yeah.
You really, as a responsible citizen, if you've got the ability to vote,
You should totally.
you should definitely exercise
Totally
that
vote.
right that you
Yes,
have.
yes.
Because you believe it or not, I've seen $1 million transactions take place in city council meetings here in the city of Statesville. $1 million transactions where the city council can vote on something, like, for example, a rezoning of a piece of property, which
Right.
might sound meaningless to you. But the owner of that property stands, in a lot of cases, if it's rezoned to certain classifications, stands to make millions in an instant.
Explain.
So, for example, let's say I have I'll give you an example of something that happened without saying any names or giving any specifics. There was a piece of property on Highway 115. This occurred, I believe it was either early this year or late last year. A property on Highway 115 where the property, from what I understand, was about a $700,000 piece of property. $700,000, big chunk of land.
Right.
And the guy that bought the property decided, well, I want to develop it. I want to develop it into commercial and what they call multi-use. So it has some commercial aspects of it. They maybe have some office buildings. He wanted to put some storage buildings in that area. And then also on the other part of the land have a neighborhood, like a residential neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
So they did, for the first time, really, I think there's only 2 other pieces of property in the entire city of Statesville that were zoned with this broad classification for multi-use.
Right.
It was a very good thing for him, for example, but it's unheard of. He knew a lot of people in city council, so
it
he
was a selfish game move.
well, you can call it selfish. I mean, I do believe. I mean, if you want to see the city grow, you've got to be pro-development of property.
Right.
But bottom line is, nobody else, if you hadn't have been him, if you hadn't have been connected as connected as he and known the people that he knows on city council, nobody
Right.
else would have been able to get such a great deal on that rezoning
Ah.
to such a broad form of zoning to where you can do multiple things on the property and all that. It would have been very difficult for anybody else to do it. But that $700,000 piece of property, almost instantaneously, would now be worth almost $7 million, if not more.
What?
Just by simply having the rezoning done, and this is before anything else is done to the property.
Hold on, 700 grand.
To
Shoot the
to at
7
least $7 million, probably more.
What's that? 10 times?
Well, that's a factor of 10.
Fucking hey, man. Good God.
So that's why I tell you, you've got to pay attention to your local politics. You've got to pay attention. Now, again, I'm not saying that it's necessarily a bad thing for that to happen.
Right.
But I am saying that in our city, for example, it's about who you know.
Yeah.
And you can make mad money if you know the right people in town.
This is a small town.
And then meanwhile, you have one of the highest poverty rates of any city in the country.
Yeah.
We're not
And
the
one
highest,
of the top
but
10 dangerous.
I think that's
of
in the
the state?
Yeah, in the state.
we
Yeah,
made number 5.
we made number 5.
Yeah.
And you've got that huge disparity. So it would be nice. I think that it comes down to an education. You've got to get involved and understand that these kinds of things can happen.
Well,
Right.
but you look at the construct of Statesville, and it's really, you got your Baptist Bible thumpers,
Right.
and then you got a very small number of people that are in between, and then you got the South Side.
Yeah.
Bottom line, and I'm not being racist whatsoever, but that's the construct of Statesville as a whole.
Hold on, where is Ward 4?
Ward 4 is the historic district.
And that would be downtown.
It's,
But
it's
when-
basically downtown, stretching over to like where Iredell Memorial Hospital is, kind of that section there. If you're going down towards the 5 Points, virtually everything to your left as you drive down that road is Ward 4. If you're driving down Davie Avenue, if you're going back in the other direction towards downtown on Davie Avenue from the 5 Points, it's everything on to your right. And then once you get down to about the Food Lion area, it's about everything on both sides of the road and those neighborhoods in those areas all the way into downtown.
I'm totally in your ward.
You're in the ward?
I'm in your ward.
All right,
So,
so
yeah.
he's in your ward. Back to what I was saying. Statesville isn't necessarily doesn't have everybody on the same side.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to vote the same. Nobody's going to do the same. Nobody's going to do what they're supposed to do
Right.
because of the fact that there's a lot of racism in this state or in this city.
You think so?
I know so because trust me,
Yeah.
there's a lot.
Right.
And I'm a white guy saying that, but I'm from California.
I've seen
so
it. I've seen it too.
I come from California to where it's like black people and white people. They're
Right.
and Mexicans. Hey, everybody's just either you're a piece of shit or you're cool.
Right.
Period.
Right.
There's not that's the true meaning of colorblindness. And if you're one of those assholes that want to be like you're the da on either side of the fence,
Right.
You probably get whooped.
exactly. And you're gonna get whooped by your own color, or you're gonna get whooped by another color, but they're gonna be whooping your ass together.
Well, blind. Yeah. There's no room for that anymore. in
My
today's
point
society,
is
blind racism.
this place needs to wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
And they need people that are in city council and stuff like that to go, hey, we need to do this.
That's right.
And we need to get in there and make everybody
Make positive change.
exactly positive change. Thank you.
Well, a key thing is that what's sad to me is you look back at some of the city council members currently, people currently sitting on the city council. Many of them, if not all of them, were elected with less than 200 votes total.
Okay, but how many votes were total? Not just for them.
How many
but-
people could vote? Well,
how many people could vote? So
there's 26,000 people that live in the city of Statesville.
okay, so
inside
200
city
votes.
limits.
So we're
Yeah.
gonna say roughly
26,000.
So we're gonna say roughly 5,000 people voted.
No. In fact, no. I wish that would have been nice.
period.
You're talking, like, for example, when I ran for mayor 2 years ago, the total number of votes, I think, in the initial, like, I don't remember how many voted in the, I think it was around 2,000. I think it was around 2,000 people total
Of
voted.
26,000?
Of 26,000.
Hey,
But-
man.
Yeah.
That brings me to my next question. Why are you even in politics?
Why am I in politics?
What is the point?
Because I'm glutton for punishment.
Okay. I mean, besides that.
I love criticism. I just love it. You know, it's so funny because when I ran for mayor, you know, I had people, you know, you have people, of course, that love what you say and they actually listen to you and all this. Then you have people who have no idea, but they just look at you and they're like, who does this guy think he is?
Yeah,
you
but
know?
what's your MO?
Who does this guy think he is running?
That was really ragging on how young you were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I don't blame him. You know, I mean, I would probably be very, very much the same way if I didn't take the time to learn anything about a person that was running. You know,
Yeah, it's easy to be skeptical when you don't know.
when you don't know anything,
Right.
and that
Yeah.
happens so much, and it's really a shame. So, to your question about why I got involved in politics, I kind of took an interest in politics back in high school. I think it was junior year. I was in many AP classes. I think my senior year, I think virtually every single one of my classes was AP, which is the advanced levels, college level classes. And
I was in a lot of those as well.
and when you get into when you get to that level mentally, anybody, you just, well, first of all, you're forced to in those classes to take an interest in politics because that's
and
what you're
debate
studying.
and stuff like that.
And in that particular time frame, that was a very interesting election. It was the beginning of the 2000. My last year in high school was the beginning of the 2008 election, where you had Obama running.
Yeah.
Hillary was running against Obama in the Democrat primary. Hillary Clinton versus Obama.
I remember that.
And it was McCain and Romney and Ron Paul. I really was interested in all of that. It was just like the perfect storm. So many interesting characters were running.
McCain is the man. Rest in peace.
Yeah, McCain eventually went against Obama, and I was just very
He
involved.
was dead for fucking, 5 years or something while he had that artificial heart in his body? Didn't even have a fucking pulse.
Is
POW?
is that a
John McCain? No, I'm
John
thinking
McCain
of
was a POW.
You're talking about Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney.
Cheney,
Sorry.
yeah.
Like I
He's
said, I don't
still-
pay attention to
He's
politics.
still alive.
But what's the point? My question is, what is the point of running for politics? Why would you want to get into? What are the benefits?
Well,
Because you don't just do it for extra time.
Change, man.
no. The thing is I'm a firm believer. Like I say, I'm a libertarian. I'm a philosophical libertarian.
Okay.
More of a conservative libertarian. I'm fiscally conservative, socially liberal on some things. For example, I believe that drugs, for the most part, should be decriminalized.
I
We
agree.
shouldn't be throwing people in jail for addictions. We should be, if it's a particular addiction to a substance that
Well, you need to go out to
has
big
a negative
fucking
impact.
pharma. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, big pharma is a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I completely agree with that. So I'm libertarian-esque in that issue, but still very much, I'm still conservative on other things in the social realm, like abortion. I'm not a fan of abortion.
Nobody really is.
So long as
Even
the
the people
mother's
that are
health
like,
isn't
it's your choice. They're not like, kill that fucking baby.
right.
You know what I mean? It's like, but it's your choice.
But on the local level, the reason I got involved is, I was born in Statesville.
Yeah.
I was born here, and I've seen, as a kid, I remember, Statesville was a nice town. At least I remember it being a really nice town, and I've always loved living in Statesville.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't always lived in Statesville. We moved when I was 10.
You didn't stay on Port Drive, did you?
Well, no, we lived in, so the first place we lived, which I don't really remember, I was too young, my parents rented an apartment in Foxcroft.
Okay.
So, and then we moved over to Club Drive. Club Drive is right there near Foxcroft, just a little bit down. Yeah. So, and then we lived on Windover Road, which is over there near where MV Mills is.
Yeah.
So,
So you never went to the ghetto, is what you're saying?
never went to the ghetto. Of course, I've
Never
been,
moved to the ghetto.
Lived.
I've
Lived
never
in the
lived.
ghetto.
I've never lived in the ghetto. I've never lived
the
on the
hood.
south. Well, I guess I don't know if you could say
Oh,
that.
sorry, hood. They call it ghettos in California.
Do they? Well, I know, and we went black again on the screen over there.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I'm looking out for us. Don't worry, guys. You'll be able to see all of our beautiful faces again here shortly.
But keep going. I can't.
But anyway, sorry, what was I talking about? I lost my train of thought.
Never lived in the hood.
Never lived.
Sorry, the hood.
No, I've lived on Holland Circle in Statesville.
Right.
Holland Circle. They said that was a real nice middle class neighborhood, but it's got some rough parts.
Can we preserve the middle class? Like, I know that
We have a dying middle class here in Statesville.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's there's two extremes here in Statesville. It's either you live in poverty or you're pretty well off. You know, there aren't many people on the in between, but and that's one of the main reasons. So to long story short, that's one of the main reasons I got involved in politics in Statesville. I run 2 insurance agencies.
Okay.
And so I have a profound, and before that, I worked for State Farm. What happened over there?
What are you talking?
Are we still good over there? Sorry.
Yep, we're good.
I've got ADD too, but before that I worked for State Farm, and then before that I was over Verizon Cellular Sales in front of big lots. And I've seen people that come in and they struggle in Statesville to pay bills. And I talk to other agents all over the country, in city, and it's just like, they don't see the same things we see. I mean, you have some level of poverty in every city, and you're bound to see it, but they don't see it on the scale that I see it.
So they just see
Well,
like the
because they
numbers
don't
this
look.
guy's
I have
paying and
people.
this guy's not.
I have people coming in that are counting out pennies, trying to figure out how they're going to pay their bills and everything. And it's an issue that is unique to Statesville.
Especially when the guy works all the time. The guy works.
Yeah, when you're working, they're working sometimes 2, 3, 4 jobs, and they still are struggling to pay their insurance bills and things like that.
Crazy.
So, and I've also had the privilege of having the opportunity to be around the people of privilege in this community. And there just seemed to me to be a disconnect, especially with the people that are in power in this city. Just there seems to be a disconnect between them and the people that are really struggling in this town. And they tend to make decisions on city council that don't necessarily have any direct benefit to those people. They have little pet projects, beautification projects, for example, instead of focusing on economic development to really pull people out of poverty.
Well,
So-
but they don't care about people that are in poverty because of the fact that if you got money and
Your
say you
friends
had
got
money, say you had money and I have no money.
Mhm.
Okay, that's probably the case right now because you're driving a Tesla. I'm driving a 2004 Outlander.
You'd be
But
surprised.
okay, you don't care about my problems. You don't care about the situation that I'm in. You simply care about the situation that you're in,
Right.
Because of the fact that you don't have to deal with the stress.
Yeah, I don't
that
live your
deal
life.
with. So
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
know what's going on.
I don't
over
know.
here.
Yeah, I don't know unless you go out of your way to really try and put yourself in other people's shoes.
Right,
Exactly.
which
You
people
won't
usually
find out.
don't do.
No, most people don't do that, and you can't blame the person. I mean, the economy and the world theoretically works better when people are all striving to make their best life a reality.
Yeah.
If everybody is working towards that goal individually, then theoretically the entire society is a better society.
We got a
But-
comment. But go ahead.
But unfortunately, we have a lot of people that have kind of fallen behind, and there's got to be some effort to, reach out. And, I mean, a lot of this is because of some of the things that the city council has done. Like I say, they haven't focused on economic development. That hasn't been one of the things that they've focused on. Like I say, they focused on beautification project. They spend money like they're drunken sailors over there.
Yeah. Exactly.
They do, and it
Well-
doesn't. Nothing that really has any direct benefit to the city as far as economic development. I think the only thing that really has had any direct benefit, and potential direct benefit, we haven't seen the benefits of it yet, is the Larkin project.
What is the Larkin project?
The Larkin project is the development that they're working on. It's going to be an industrial commercial development where they're going to hopefully be bringing in some commercial, some industry into the Larkin area.
Okay, so like when you say industry, you mean like more factory jobs?
Yeah,
more-
things like
more
that.
jobs available.
Right.
But like
Hopefully, but
can we make sure that these jobs like pay well so we can I was watching the council meeting on on the show ICTV
Yeah.
that person was doing.
You're talking about where the little candidate forum.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And they was talking about that when Statesville really doesn't have like a reason to keep people in Statesville,
Right.
to where they're like, well, I've got this education now. I can go back home and better
Correct.
my community because
Right.
my community is paying well and I can make a difference there. So there's no reason for other people to come to Statesville if they know about us, or for people in Statesville to feel comfortable saying, well, you can just stay here and be successful.
That
Well-
issue goes so deep because it starts really from a young age.
Right.
From a young age, I know when I was a kid, it was pounded into my head. You've got to go to college. If you don't go to college, you're going to be working at McDonald's the rest of your life. If you don't,
Or working at a factory.
or working at a factory, is that what you want to do with your life?
I
You want to
went
work in a
college and I
factory?
still work.
Exactly.
You know,
Me too.
and that's the point. So all of these children, and myself included, were essentially forced. I mean, by way of intimidation,
Yeah.
To
Indoctrinated.
go indoctrination to go to college, take out extreme amounts of student loan debt,
Tell me
which
about
I did as well.
That you never outlive.
No, I'm still paying. I'm paying about 300. No, I'm sorry, 450 a month
Yeah.
on student loan
And you can
payments.
file for bankruptcy.
And I'm going to be
you can-
paying at least 300 for the next 25 years, at least that
Crazy.
much. All that to say this: when I got to college, I didn't even know what I wanted to do. When I got to and I ask people all the time. You know, I had the opportunity to go to West Iredell High School last week and interview some of the kids for the Leadership Statesville thing that the Chamber of Commerce is doing. And I'm interviewing these high schoolers, and they're talking about their ambitions. And it really took me back because I mean, I haven't been in a high school since I was in high school.
Exactly.
And it just reminded me of, I really had no idea I had no idea what I wanted to do. Not
Right.
in high school. I didn't know for the first 2 years of college what I even wanted to major in. And then when I finally decided on what I wanted to major in, political science and economics, I didn't even end up doing anything remotely in that field once I was done with it.
That's crazy.
And most of the people that I graduated with didn't do it. And so many people that go to school, they go and they pursue something in the arts or they pursue something that doesn't really have many career options. So they're limited.
Or it's hyper competitive.
Until they end up
Or
being
it's
a
hyper
manager at
competitive.
McDonald's.
Exactly. And so then you expect them to come back to Statesville after they've gotten one of these highly specialized degrees. Like, for example, you don't have any opportunity here in Statesville.
Right.
So we wanted to educate all of our children, send them off, theoretically make them smarter and able to contribute to an ideal society that we'd like to have here in Statesville, but we don't have the infrastructure when they come back.
Exactly. I don't understand why Statesville isn't fucking Charlotte.
There's
To be
no
honest
reason,
with you, because of the
with
fact-
two major highways.
Exactly. You got the crossroads right here.
Right.
If they want to go
40 and
from here to
77.
Tennessee,
Boom.
or they got us cross through here.
We
They
could
wanna
be a
go-
major distribution hub. We've got an airport. We've got this city is built, and it historically has been built
the crossroads.
for distribution, getting things out.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, you could have factories here that are building their product right on site. You could have those
Yep.
distribution hubs here as well, ready to ship out the product. For the longest time, I said, I'm going to say this. I hope I don't offend anybody by this. For the longest time, we were a big tobacco town.
Yeah.
You were smoking earlier, that's why I mentioned it. But
Well, you're not offending me whatsoever. I
no,
promise you
no.
that.
But we used to be a big tobacco hub. And we probably grew the best tobacco in the world. So my thought has been one thing that I think could really ignite Statesville's economy is if we legalized marijuana or hemp.
Thank you for saying it.
And
Let me
we've got-
take over from here real quick.
And we've got an airport to ship it out. We could have the best marijuana in the country.
And then we can
Kyle
ship it.
Houston for president. ladies. Kyle Houston for president. And the reason you say that, it's actually geographically proven that there's two places in the United States that are best for growing cannabis. One of them, Humboldt County,
Really?
California.
Right.
The other one is Ardell, Catawba.
Yeah, this area would be
This
fantastic.
area is on the East Coast, the number one
Statesville.
spot.
Las Vegas. That's right.
The number one spot to grow cannabis. If it were legal, it would actually flourish here.
Oh, of course it would flourish, and
Jobs would be like crazy.
you'd probably.
Jobs would be going off.
Oh yeah,
meat,
it would. That
I'd be
that
one of those
thing
people
alone.
calling Kyle up going, hey, look, I
Boom.
need this bill to pass because you wouldn't believe what's happening and going on here.
Yeah. It's
Just so you know
fantastic.
that Laurie asked, like, what does positive change mean to you? So we can get the comment.
What is positive?
Positive change look like to you? So that's like a comment.
Well,
from somebody.
the thing that positive change looks like to me is exactly what we're talking about. Positive change is empowering the people in our community with economic mobility to get them out of the poverty,
Yeah.
Positive change to me looks like not allowing buildings to sit in disrepair for years and years and years or vacant.
The mall.
The mall, for example. and it's just simply, and what's so sad about situations like the mall and other properties that sit empty, business properties specifically, what I'm
Kmart.
talking about, Kmart, is the owners really just don't seem to be in the game anymore. They've made their money and they're just not. If it were me, let's say for example you owned the property that the mall's sitting on.
Right.
you're hungry, right? You want to turn that into something because you want to build something for your life and your family.
Exactly.
But the people that are sitting on it now, unfortunately, they don't seem to be very hungry anymore, and they're letting it fall into disrepair.
So why don't they sell it?
So why won't they sell it? Exactly. Because they don't have any, there's no pressure to sell it, right? There's no pressure. The city isn't going to them saying, hey, you're sitting on a prime piece of property. Our entire city is deteriorating around you. You've got to do something. We're gonna have to penalize you if you don't get moving on this.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you threaten them with a penalty, and they're gonna figure something out. They're either gonna develop the property or they're gonna sell it.
Yeah.
They're gonna figure it. From what I've heard is the owners of there's several owners of the mall property.
There's the JR building. There's the old.
Well, JR building is going to get demolished.
That's
what I heard.
They need to do something with it.
Maybe.
There's the old movie theater that was next to the JR building. That's the
Right.
Kmart building.
Right.
What's that over there on the other side? Next to Home Depot. That building is. It's Home Depot, and then that one spot that's just naked beside of it. They finally put a Marshalls and shit over there.
Home Depot.
21.
A lot of that area up 21 isn't zoned in city limits.
Okay.
So that may be why, but I don't know what specific area you're talking about. But yeah, that's right up that road in that area generally is where city limits ends. So they have been looking at annexing some of that property. I do think that up that area should be developed as well. Further developed. I mean, it's already a pretty
I totally agree.
booming area.
Mm-hmm.
So that could stand some better development. East Broad Street needs to be revamped. That area. We need some development on the south side. They have almost nothing down there. So there's many different areas that can be developed. I mean, just by simply putting some pressure on people that own the property down there to get the property into the hands of somebody that's willing to do something.
Well, not necessarily sell it. Think about it like this. If you got a big-ass building, your average is $1,500 a month. I know it's cheap for a big-ass building.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But the only people that can get into that thing can only afford $900 a month. Okay? So they can't get into that building.
Right.
You can't cut your shit, whatever. So I'm just going to let it sit vacant. But there's nobody that can afford $1,500 a month
So
to come to this place. So I think what the council people need to do is figure out a way to make people want to come here. Why would you want to come here?
Outside businesses come here.
Exactly. That promotes growth.
Right. Well, you've got to.
And that promotes people getting jobs and money and everything.
Right. Well, you want to incentivize, I think. You want to incentivize for people that own this property. You want to incentivize them in some way. I mean, maybe it's a break on their utility rates for a short period of time.
Or
maybe it's a break
incentivize
on
other companies
taxes.
to come in because whatever dollar they make within city limits, they have to pay a tax on it. Be like, look, if you come in, we're going to cut your taxes in half for the first 5 years that you hold a lease.
Well, if you want to go to an outside business, for example, let's say, for example, Amazon said, they announced they're looking for a place to put their big warehouse, right?
We got a mall.
Yeah, we've got a big open space right over there, right? So how about this, Amazon? We'll give you a tax break. We'll give you utility break. A lot of our if you sign up for the utilities for the city of Statesville, we'll give you a little bit of break on your utilities for a short period of time. But in exchange,
you got to build a new building.
You got to build the building. You got to develop the property. You've got to offer jobs to Statesville residents, and you've got to. We would like to see you paying at least a certain level to get all of the benefits that we're going to offer you.
Exactly.
Get this man a president.
Get off what I'm saying?
Get off the local. Get on the presidential, man.
That would be a great way to build Statesville.
Right.
And I mean, I've never seen any new company come in here since I've lived here. I lived here for 10 years.
We've had. I mean, it's few and far between.
I've seen companies buy companies that are already here.
Right.
But nobody ever's like, I'm going to fucking Statesville.
Right.
This is going to be.
It doesn't happen a lot. Well, we're not. Again, it's almost like some people on city council have almost been too snobbish. I mean, the whole. For example,
they're fucking old and they need to get
old.
Gone.
Yeah, they don't have the energy. Low energy.
No, it's not old energy. It's people that are stuck in their ways and not willing to change.
No, you're right.
They need millennials.
They need millennials.
They want to keep it southern.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of that fucking shit. That pisses me off and everything in me. I'm going to keep it southern. I'm not going to do that because I didn't do that a long damn time ago and I can give a fuck less now.
Well,
Why
Listen,
the fuck, you sorry ass
bro,
ignorant motherfucker?
what
Go shoot
worked
yourself in
a
the
long
head.
time ago is not going to work now because we're in a whole new day and age. There's a whole new list of problems, and
Right.
all those new list of problems need new solutions. Like the solutions that Mr. Cal Houston is suggesting.
yeah. Well, when you need someone that's aggressive about those solutions too.
Right.
You know, a lot of people get into politics, and it's like it's a cush job. You know, it's just
Well, but how are these people holding their position?
again,
Because
nobody's
people ain't
voting.
going out and choke. They ain't voting.
If
No one's
you
getting rid of them, bro.
most people's social circle. How many friends do you have on Facebook?
593.
He does.
Well, you're popular. I've got about 1,200. I've lived in many cities, so that's probably why. I've got about 1,200, a little over that. You know, so just if my friends voted, let's just say I had 500 friends, I mean, I could swing an election theoretically. Theoretically.
Yeah.
Even though in my ward there are, I think, 2,500 registered voters, but we're not going to get 100% turnout.
No.
We're not going to get anywhere close to 100% turnout, and it's a shame. And so what's going to happen, inevitably, especially if people don't get out and vote, is this election is going to be decided by somebody's friends, by somebody's close, tight-knit circle that probably has something to gain. I mean, this is the way Statesville politics works.
Absolutely.
I know you're a landowner, right? You own a piece of property. Listen up, Anthony. If you get me elected, I'm going to make sure that piece of property gets rezoned, and you're going to make a killing, right?
Right.
That kind of thing happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people that have been, for example, two of my opponents, for example, one guy, James Presley, his dad was mayor. His dad was mayor at one point. The other, Amy Lawton, her father-in-law, I believe it might be, was once on the city council. And it's just interesting to me how you have that kind of dynamic that typically plays out in politics,
Yeah.
where people become fascinated with making sure somebody stays in, right?
Oh, yeah.
That way they can
Passing it
ensure
down
that
through generation.
that way they can ensure that their friends, their people that they know, continue to get the benefits that they're used to, right?
Right.
They don't want anybody in there shaking the boat. You know, so it's very surprising to me. And then you get people that are desensitized by it. They've seen it happen so long, and they almost believe that there's nothing that can be done about it. But in Statesville, something
I
can
was
be
just
done
about to
about it.
talk about that.
Something can be done about it. It's literally so easy. If we could
Yeah.
if we could just double turnout, which would just be getting us to maybe closer to 20% turnout,
Right.
you could make massive changes. Imagine if you had 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% turnout. You would change the entire landscape of the city.
And you would change the politics and how they thought about politics. You have a more inclusive political race because everybody's voting. If
Right.
everybody's voting, then everyone's concerned, well, not with just who their friends are.
Exactly.
Well, if everybody in this neighborhood that I've never been to before is voting as well,
Right.
and I can't get it without these guys,
Exactly.
then I got to go talk to these people.
Exactly. You've got to talk to that's one thing I was talking about with this whole flag issue. You know, the arrogance of the city council.
Ridiculous.
The
Don't
arrogance.
make me cuss. Don't make me cuss.
The arrogance of some of the city council people that sit on city council that decided that, first of all, the arrogance of thinking that they need to come to you and beg for the flag, you know, to be able to fly the
To
flag.
put up an American flag.
To put up the
in
American
America.
flag. I mean, that's what they said. Well, nobody's reached out. If you're a representative, you should. Like, if you're a business in my district, for example, let's say you were, it was in my district, I'd be reaching out to you. What can I do for you to make it easier for you to do business? You know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect you to come crawling on your knees and to kiss my ring to make things happen for you. I want to see.
But it would be nice. You'd like it.
No, my ego isn't there yet.
You're like,
we'll
you're
see.
definitely
Maybe.
not touching my hands. I'm kind of a germaphobe. I'm glad you're here.
Walk
What do
around
you
with
want?
hand sanitizer on.
What do you
Yeah.
want? What do you want?
No, not quite there yet.
What you were saying?
But it's a level of arrogance that I think that is, as a representative of people, if you have more people turning out,
Right.
that's why you need more people to turn out in an election so that they can hold you accountable, so that you have someone to hold you accountable, and then everything needs to be transparent. You need to be able to see what's going on at your city council. It
It's
should.
in the error. Hold on. Got a video error. Hey, what is it looking like?
I see it over there. Are we still live? Let me look. It looks like it's live. We have one viewer. It looks like.
I just got kicked off. Maybe because of my battery percentage.
I hope everybody can still see us. Let's see here. Mention me in a comment. Yeah, we're still live.
Okay. Keep going.
So, anywho, And transparency is another big thing that I'm all about with the city council. You know, they have a lot, and some things you have to have. Some of the meetings you have to have behind a closed door because there's like attorney-client privilege and things like that.
Right.
But they do these pre-agenda meetings. It's, you know, the only way you can really watch the city council meeting is to watch it on cable, which I believe is channel 14. But you have to have cable. Like, for example, which almost excludes all millennials because I don't know. What do you use for your TV service? Do you have cable?
I use.
Do you even have TV service? A lot of people don't even have TV service anymore.
I just got internet, man. That's what I do.
So, you know, the meeting should be broadcast. They should be, you know, social media. They should be accessible.
Definitely.
Or they should be put on YouTube or something so that people can see what's going on. You know, and it's boring, I'll admit. I mean, not for me. I enjoy this kind of stuff. But for the average Joe, it's boring to watch this kind of stuff. But you should be able to go back and look. You know, like if I told you, hey, you know, you may find just about everything they talk about on a day-to-day basis boring, but you may care about one thing. Like, for example, the flag thing, for example. A lot of people got real passionate about that. But it's not very easy for you to go and actually look up the video where those people voted and what they said and why they voted against it. You know, it's not easy for you to go and actually look that up. I don't think there's anywhere where it's archived. It may be archived in their system, but I don't see where you can go back and look. I think we would have a much...
I guarantee they're trying to bury that.
Oh, they would.
They're
Well,
burying
they may,
that.
but you know what? You say that, but then every time they get the opportunity to overturn it, they do it again. And it's just like, are you serious? You got? I mean, are you just tone deaf?
I'm with the flag. I'm with you. I wanna work with you guys. No.
Mm-hmm.
Like at some point in time, I don't know when. At some point in time, it became a owner versus city council. Thank you.
Right.
It was owner versus city council.
Exactly.
As opposed to what the people want.
And what
you work for us.
And what kind of message does that send to business owners? You know, what kind of message does that send to other business owners?
Yeah. Like if you want something done, you got to go kiss city council's ass.
That's right.
That's right. Like, but who needs that?
Yeah, I agree with you exactly, and it's not the way it should be.
Yeah.
So, did that answer your question, Laurie? I hope that answered.
No. She said, "Tell it, Cal."
Yeah, tell it, Kyle.
She said, "Tell it."
But see, the problem is that if anybody was able to say, "Hey, city council, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm gonna do,"
Right.
that wouldn't be a good idea.
To tell them what you're gonna do. Well,
No, it would be like, "This is what I want to do." If city council's like, "Do it,"
well,
and they say, "Yeah, go ahead and do it," you'd have fucking bungee jumping and some fucking crazy shit.
Sounds fun.
well, the thing is, it should be.
You would have a bunch of stupid ass shit that's not supposed to be there.
Well, it should be a simple test. You know, is it putting anybody's lives in danger? Is it going to lower the property value of surrounding properties? You know, that's very simple stuff.
Will it block other
The
businesses?
view for other, very simple stuff.
So who's on the county council?
The county council is people like, for example, James Mallory. Let's see who else. I'm trying to think of Gene Halp. I don't know all the names off the top of my head.
The reason I ask is because in this area, this neighborhood that we live in, her father down there owns 6 acres. He gave us an acre.
Oh, really? Okay.
We can't put a double wide on it as a starter home because of the fact that you can't have double wides in this thing. And you know where the city starts?
Is that
at his property line.
Is that it's the city council that there's the city limits that.
City limits is on butts up to his property.
So that property is in city limits that you have that acre. No, it's not.
It butts up to his line.
So yeah.
Country club's right there.
Well, I do. You know, I mean, if it's an HOA, you know, I do think that they should. You know, as part of living in a community, I think that you and your neighbors
there
and
is no
everybody should.
HOA here.
There isn't. So if that's not the case, I don't know why you wouldn't be free to do whatever you want to do. But I do think that there should be some. I mean, when you live in a community or a neighborhood, you should be able to agree on some minimum standards for housing in the community. Because like I said, that was one of the tests I talked about. You don't want, if I've got a really nice $300,000 house and you own a piece of property next to me,
exactly,
and then you put in a double wide, it's probably going to lower the value of
my
property.
Well, we wanted to throw up like a nice modular home or something like that we could have as the beginning project. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Spend $60,000 on it, pay it off, and build a house after.
I think if it looks nice,
saying?
you know, if it's a nice looking home or whatever, like I say, I think that all of that can be. You can work with the county or you can work with the city, or at least you should be able to.
Yeah.
To make sure that it's up to the standards of the people that you're around.
It was HOA.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a nice neighborhood.
It's nice, right?
It's a nice
You know what?
neighborhood.
You know what? Everybody just takes care of their shit.
Yeah, people take care of their houses in its area. That's the
Take
nice
care
thing
of your
about
stuff,
homeownership.
Mow your yard.
Which is
Except
an-
for our neighbor next door. He's kind of an asshole.
That's the
He's
nice.
a preacher too.
If he's listening right now, we're
He's
sorry.
a nice guy, but he's a young preacher, and I guess he just doesn't like the look. Doesn't care about the looks of the outside of his house.
Well,
I was thinking like.
does he own it or is he renting?
He's renting, but that's not the point.
I was thinking like if they did like some kind of HOA rules in like low income communities, then maybe they won't remain so low income, and that'll keep out the threat of gentrification.
Well, the best way to improve the neighborhoods and the properties. I mean, keep this in mind too. This little fun statistic: 52%, a majority of the people that live in city limits of Statesville rent their property instead of owning it.
Right.
That's a large percentage.
Right.
You have major landlords in this city that own 30, 40, 50, 60 properties.
Yep.
It's very interesting. And I think that we need to come up with some way to incentivize some of these landlords to give people the opportunity to purchase these houses.
Yeah, especially you've been in the same house for 25 years.
Right.
You might as well have been buying it.
Now I wouldn't
Yeah.
force anybody to do it, but I would say, maybe coming up with an incentive structure. Like, listen, if you can help to, again, this is all about giving people economic mobility, the opportunity to buy into something,
Right.
so that then they care about it and they're going to take care of it because it's theirs now, right?
Yeah.
But I think that that's an option, and then the other thing would be to allow. To penalize property owners that own property and they let it fall into disrepair. We shouldn't have people renting out property that doesn't meet
That's
minimum
barely
standards.
making code.
And the problem with that is not that the codes don't exist. In a lot of cases, these codes already
They're
exist,
just not enforced.
but we don't have enough people on the code enforcement to enforce the codes. And when they finally do get the process started, it just takes so long and it's just so drawn out that you really can't. It just seems to take years and years and years and years and years to handle one problem. And we've got hundreds of issues, hundreds.
So there's no immediate gratification.
There's no immediate gratification. And again, that can be mobilized by prioritizing where we spend our money. Like I say, they spend money like drunken sailors on city council. They say to themselves, you know what? That statue looks nice. Let's buy that and put it in the like, what are you guys talking about? There's a property right down the street in disrepair. Let's put the money towards getting someone in code enforcement, hiring another guy in code enforcement to go take care of this property in disrepair. So it's just their priorities are all out of whack. And I love downtown Statesville. I love downtown Statesville.
I do
What
like
they've
the updates on
Yeah,
this.
the
It's
updates
beautiful.
are they're beautiful. It's
Yeah,
just fantastic. Downtown Statesville, I spent a lot of time down there. I mean, it's only a few blocks from my house.
Mm-hmm.
But that shouldn't be the only place we're focusing our energy.
But what about like the city taxes? You say that right downtown from your house, and that means obviously you live in city limits.
Yes. Yeah.
You know the reason why it's so hard for my wife and I to find a house is simply because of the fact, well, we'd like to live on this side of the house, but we get just that Broad Street and we get in the city limits, and the city taxes
Yeah, the
are
taxes.
fucking outrageous.
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
fucking outrageous.
So
And it's like, okay, yeah, you're taxing everybody that lives here just to make this fucking downtown look good.
yeah.
Why?
Well, here's the thing. You want. It used to be that the deal was, in exchange for these taxes, you're getting enhanced services. For example, trash pickup.
Okay.
Recycling pickup.
$45 every
We'll come
3
pick up your leaves.
months.
We'll come pick up your leaves whenever you put them in a pile on the side of the road.
Stop being a bitch. Make a burn pile.
Things like
Keep going. Keep going.
Welcome
Keep
to
going,
the-
bro.
welcome to
that,
the
that was
Tumbler
the
project.
but that
Okay.
that was the goal.
Keep telling me the benefits. No,
Now,
I'm
but
having fun.
That used to be that used to be, but now they've added a new fee. What you thought you were already paying for in your city taxes, they now have separated out into another fee, that sanitation fee.
Yeah, who
for
wants to
example.
make more
Yeah.
money? And
So-
who's in charge of that?
And that money doesn't even go to sanitation.
Who's in charge of that?
Hold on. Whoa.
Who is
Back
Oh,
in
that
you
up.
charge?
don't know how politics works?
Back that up.
Who,
Back
who
that
is
up.
in charge of that?
Well, city council, they make the budgets.
Oh, okay.
They make the budget. They decide where it's going to get spent. And like anything, like for example, the federal government has been known to, like for example, the Social Security Fund, right? They go in
I'm
and they
still
rob
stuck
that
on
fund all the
sanitation
time.
not being used on
Yeah, yeah.
sanitation.
Oh, it
Let's-
happens
let's-
in all forms of government.
We're not talking about FET. We're talking about Statesville, City
Statesville, North Carolina.
Council.
The thing is yeah, that money does not go towards the sanitation department. It doesn't go. It's basically used as their slush fund. They're like I say. I mean, they have pet projects they've got to complete. They're still working on the expansion of the.
What projects are they working on that it's not helping the residents
Well,
of the
they're
city?
they're hoping to continue to develop that streetscape down into the south side. They're
Okay.
going to beautify the roads further all the way down
Okay,
Shelton Avenue.
that's
I
all
believe.
fine and great, but when it
We're
costs
We're black
you
again on the
an upwards of
screen over there.
what is it, $2,500 a month just in city taxes?
Yeah.
Just in city, or not $25 a month, $2,500 a year just in city taxes. Why? That's
You-
an extra $2,500, man.
I agree with you. That's one
and
of the
you
reasons.
said yourself that Statesville has two classes. They have the higher class, which they can afford it. And
Right.
they have the lower class that can't afford it. And there's also a shit ton of renters that can't afford it because of the fact that they're getting paid upwards of $850 a month from every property that they own. So yeah, they can
I say, so
they
most
can
of them, it's just
afford
one property.
they can afford
Right.
that they can afford that $2,500 city tax.
Right. We are. The thing is I agree with you. I mean, I'm all about if you're not getting the services, if you don't feel like you're getting value for those taxes, then taxes need to be lowered.
An extra
Here's the
25, dude. You know what the property taxes on this property is?
Oh, I know. Well, you're not paying city tax. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, it's cheap.
It's
cheaper.
about $600.
Yeah, but the thing is
That's
the thing is there should be benefits to living in the city.
There's
And
not.
There's not right now. A lot of people feel that they're not
I mean,
getting
you got
what
sewer.
their taxes are paying for, and sewer and water, but you pay for all that stuff too. So here's the thing. What you want in an ideal world, like I say, you want to be able to offer services to people in the city limits that they feel like they're getting the value for their taxes or lower those taxes. But here's the thing. Think about this one for a moment. Despite all of the investments, for example, they did the downtown Statesville beautification project, which
Right.
again, I think it's beautiful. I
It
mean,
works.
I'm not gonna say
It
that.
works. It
It's
is
all
I will
fine.
remain
very,
positive.
Very aesthetically pleasing.
But look at the underlying numbers. The tax base. So what that means is when you talk about tax base, it's the amount of taxable property or income or whatever it is that's being taxed in the area. The tax base has shrunk, which means there's less to tax, which typically is indicative of, like, for example, perhaps businesses aren't bringing in as much money. They're not selling. They don't have as
know
much.
why?
Their property values may not be where you want them to be. Why? But why? Go ahead and
Because
why?
80% of the people that live in Statesville
Don't shop in
don't
Statesville.
go downtown.
No.
They don't care.
Right.
They go to Mooresville. They go to Moxville. They go to Charlotte. They go to Hickory.
What's that?
They don't care. You know why?
Battery's dying.
Well, change the battery, dude. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Keep
pardon
going.
pardon the
I'm just
interruption.
not saying it. Keep going.
thought you just did it. Go ahead.
We're having battery issues here with our camera.
Behind you, bud.
Stay tuned, everybody. We're just getting into the meat of things here.
We're getting into the good things.
Yeah, we
We're
getting
getting into the meat and potatoes.
Into the good shit.
I already forgot what we were talking about.
No, I didn't. Don't worry. I got a great
Taxes.
memory. I'm
Oh.
kinda OCD.
Yeah.
If I can figure out how to put the battery in, that'll be great. That time for him to leave, I'm adjusting the camera.
Yeah, we've got maybe about 45 minutes, a little less than that left here. If we continue to have things to talk about.
There we go. And we are.
We're gonna be back shortly, everybody. We're gonna be back.
We are back on.
All right.
My point is okay.
Yeah. But
Downtown looks great.
right, but people aren't going
Nobody's
downtown.
going.
Right.
So
I was
what's the fucking point.
I was talking about that yesterday with people. They had the Live After 5 yesterday, which to me, and I don't know. I mean, they have the number. It's back on again, doing that thing.
No, there it goes. There it goes. Okay,
Oh, we're
pay
back.
attention if you're gonna look at my computer.
Uh huh.
Pay attention to that screen.
Why is that?
That's the main screen.
Oh, is it?
Everybody sees. We see this before they see this.
Oh, okay. I
You
got
get
you.
what I'm saying? So if that goes black, that one goes black. Let me
So
know
we could
immediately. I can
you could
avoid-
bleep us out if I said something just insane, you'd have time to bleep it out before it goes live.
No, not really. So, and I don't like editing.
Yeah,
so
this is
you're on your
raw
own.
and uncut, everybody.
You don't have to wear your headphones if you don't want to.
I like to be able to hear myself.
Okay.
I like to be able to hear you guys.
Okay. Well,
Better.
I can hear you just fine.
Can you without your headphones on?
I just like headphones on.
No, I like to make sure, because the thing is what people are hearing. People are hearing what I'm hearing in this earphone, and so it's able. It helps me to gauge
I've
whether or
listened
not
to
I'm.
this mic too much.
Yeah, well,
So.
So you're a pro.
I know exactly what I'm saying.
See, I'm amateur. This is my first time on your set.
You're good.
But anyway, so yeah, you're right. I mean, that's the problem is we have a lot of people talk smack about the community and how we don't have anything, but then when we do get things, they don't support it. They don't go and they don't shop local.
Well, because it's not interesting.
I own local insurance agencies, but how many people do you know that shop and spend their money with people like Progressive or Geico? Because they saved about $10 on their auto insurance. Not all the time, right?
You're looking at one of them.
Yeah.
I'm a Geico guy.
So that money isn't being reinvested into your community is the point, and that's the Amazon effect.
Exactly, because the community don't give a fuck about me, dude. Sorry, tax the shit out of me. I would love to live a 10-minute walk or a 5-minute walk from downtown. I would love to live, and there's houses that are in our budget that we could buy.
Yeah, in downtown.
However,
fixer-uppers probably.
No.
Oh, really? Oh, you guys have a big
What are you
budget.
saying? I'm poor as fuck?
No. Well, the only houses I see that could pop up downtown here lately for sale look to be. I went and looked at one. It was a fixer-upper.
But no, there's quite a few of them that are in great locations. You can just walk, go to supper, shit like that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to pay that extra $2,500
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Just because of the fact that I live.
Not if you don't feel like you're getting value for it.
I mean, I'll pay for sewer.
But here's the thing. See,
that's in water, but I pay for water every month.
But so you have a city council that's spending money.
That's really all you're providing, as opposed. That's really all you're providing. Oh, and free trash pickup. So
it's not
calculate $45 every 3 months. What's that? Boom, boom, boom.
Is that what you pay? Is that
$120?
who do you have pick your trash up here? Benfield?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
It's like it's not even worth the thing, and I guarantee that the city's contracted with Benfield Sanitation to pick up the fucking trash.
No, they're not. Are you talking about out here? No, they're not contracted in the city limit. They actually were considering looking at getting quotes to potentially privatize that and let an outside company do it for the city, but it caused a bunch of
Well, then who does it? The
outrage.
city?
Yeah, the city does. They have their own staff.
They have their own trash company, so to speak.
Yep, it's the city. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
City sanitation department. Yeah. Great people.
But then how come Benfield Sanitation's sitting right there, what is it, by Kmart, or where Kmart used to be?
Isn't that their temporary facility, though? Aren't they temporary?
That's temporary.
Driving down the road, picking up residential trash.
Yeah.
Are they picking up residential in city limits?
Yes.
Well, if they do, then it's been... See, I think you can... I'm not 100% sure of this. I think you can technically opt out of the city sanitation services and then get your own, make your own arrangements, theoretically. From what I understand,
trash picked.
I've never had any direct interaction with any of the sanitation people. I mean, we put the trash out and they take care of it. I've never interacted with them, but a lot of people really think that the city sanitation department, they go above and beyond to make sure that, if you've got any special requests, they're typically they do a good job,
dude.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. Just it's full.
Well, I remember when
sometimes you gotta put something on the side of the road, like bed frame that you don't want anymore. Or something
if that's Benfield,
they really take care of that. Yeah.
If that's Benfield, but Benfield's not doing that.
Yeah, they're not doing it.
That's an extra
That's just
fee.
lazy people.
Yeah, but that's there's a lot of them there. So
yeah, they won't do it. I mean, I had a mattress, for example, at one of my storage facilities, and I put that over there next to the.
And they took it?
No, Benfield would not take it.
Yeah, but the city.
The city would have, if it were in city limits, but
the
that particular.
The city would have taken a mattress. Are you sure?
Positive.
Yeah.
100%.
If you have a special request, oh yeah.
If you just set it out next to your trash can.
I actually know people who have Benfield out in the country and bring stuff to city because city will take stuff that Benfield.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I had to go to the storage facility, pick up the mattress. It was in the dumpster. They had taken it out of the dumpster, put it beside the dumpster, and I had to pick it up and take it to the county waste facility.
So you had to take it to the dump.
Yeah.
Okay,
but that's not the city. That it was not the storage building is being serviced by Benfield Sanitation, not by the city of Statesville.
That's not my point. What I'm asking is say I put my trash can out, right, and I put a mattress beside it.
In the city limits,
in the city limits,
of Statesville,
when they come and pick up that trash, are they gonna physically take that?
That for
to the
yes,
dump?
Yeah.
They will. They'll throw it in their trash can.
For sure.
Yeah.
Positive.
I have seen that myself.
Does that? Now, are you ready? Are you prepared to pay the extra taxes for that?
No, because I don't throw Call your buddy with a truck, throw that thing in the back, and fuck things to the dump. You slob. I'm sorry, man. I don't
I'm usually the buddy with the truck. That's what it is. I'm the buddy with the truck. Hey, man, I got a grill or something I need moved, and come holler at me. I'm like, all right.
I mean, I don't get that. That's just, and that's stupid. $2,500.
Yeah.
Upwards of.
Yeah, I know it. You know,
For just taxes.
well, look, you know, so, like, you know, I mean, that's just, you know, the bottom.
Oh, you live on this piece of dirt with this invisible line.
The bottom line is, that's the reason that I'm running, is so that there are people out, and you're always going to have people that complain about paying extra taxes. You're always going to have those people.
Can't please everybody.
But there's freedom of choice. You know, you can come out here and live in the county and you know, figure out your way. You know, make your own arrangements and do all that, and figure out a way to make a nice life for yourself. But the goal for me, as a candidate for city council, and hopefully as a city council person once I get in, is to restore value in living in the city, so that you feel like
And
you're
that's
getting
what you
the
need.
bang for your buck. And
Yeah.
we see the nice thing about it is the problem with the decreasing tax base is if you have less to tax, and you're still spending money like a drunken sailor, that's why they've got to increase taxes, because now they're
Exactly.
not bringing in as much taxes because the tax base is shrunk. So now they've got
Yeah.
to increase the
Because they don't
taxes
have
on the
any
people that are
businesses
left.
living in stuff, because 90% of the damn city is renters.
Y-
Renters.
Yeah.
The only way you can live in the fucking city is if you rent.
52%.
52%.
Well,
I'm
thereabouts.
talking about businesses and homes.
Oh yeah. Well, both of my properties, business offices, I rent that space. I'd much rather own it.
You get what I'm saying, though?
I don't know if they'd sell it to me though. You know, because
But everybody downtown, that building's owned.
it's such a
dude.
good deal. You know, it's such. If you own a piece of business property, like a little office complex, it's such a good deal for the landlord. Once it's paid off, I mean, virtually all your costs they offload onto their renters.
Yeah.
They have they call it
Exactly.
the CAM adjustment at the end of the year, where they essentially charge you for all their insurance costs. They charge you for all their maintenance through the year. I mean, every single cost they
sit
just
back
push it
and
off.
let your
And
pockets
so they're
get
just
fat.
and they're just sitting back and just taking a check home every day. It's interesting. My opinion of property ownership on the level that it is in Statesville right now is evolving. It's very interesting to me how people are able to do that, but and I think that's only a problem that gets worse. I mean, if you're making that money, that passive income, you can just reinvest.
Right.
Next thing you know, you own half of Statesville, and you don't have to sell. I mean, you know, as a property owner,
Yeah.
you don't have to sell. So what do you do in those kinds of situations? What do you think about that?
Does that go back to the whole mall situation?
Well, the mall is, yeah. I mean, they sit on it, and it's, you know, what the city council has said for so long is we're at the mercy. You know, they are private. They own that privately. That's a privately owned operation. So the city, or at least the opinion of the city council, is we can't go in and tell them what to do. You know, that's their private. You know, they have property rights, and I don't want to go in and tell them they have to do anything. But what I do want to do is tell them, hey, look, if you can afford to let your property sit vacant, then you can afford to pay a penalty. And we'll just take the extra taxes in from them, from the people that want to sit on it, because they've obviously got the money to sit on an empty piece of property.
Taxes in from them, not from the people that
So
live downtown.
So, and I guarantee you what happens overnight is, well, maybe not overnight, but what happens pretty rapidly, if I'm the person that owns that property,
Oh well, I got to start making this.
I gotta
this
figure
thing make some money.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm gonna look to make deals. And so if I had that guy, for example, that you talked about earlier, where maybe I was wanting to charge $1,500 rent, for example, in my mall, but this guy can only afford $900. Well, it's going to save me $500 penalty yearly. So how about I go ahead and take that less money so that I can make sure I'm not penalized, right?
Yes.
So-
but hold on, let me stop you right there. When I said that, that was more on the thesis that we need to bring people in to where
Right.
they can afford the $1,500 a month.
Well, you want that's
You know
that
what
would
I'm
be
saying?
the
That's what you
ideal
just said
situation. Yeah, that'd be the ideal situation. You would like for them to be able
How
to.
does the city of Statesville advertise the city of Statesville
It's
to the rest
okay.
of the United States?
So here's what we do not. I don't know that we do it at all.
I think it
What
should
you
be
can
done.
do. Well, what other cities do is they have sites that are ready for development, basically listed almost like an online marketplace, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm a developer, if I'm a developer for a company and I'm looking, you know, maybe I've been hired by Amazon to find a place to put their warehouse, right? I go
You
on to
look like
these.
a person that would be hired by Amazon to find a place for
Do-
their fucking
do-
shit.
Yeah, I
I'm
feel
telling
like
you
a person.
right now, bro. Like that'd be the guy. I'd be like, if I own property, I would expect you to show up to my front door like, Amazon wants to buy your shit. I'd be like, how much? You know what I'm saying?
So when they hire those people to do that, what they're looking at, they'll go onto the county and municipal websites or the city websites, and they'll look at their inventory if they've got any sites ready. Statesville is virtually, from what I understand, not in that game at all. So we're not even in the game.
Why?
So when
Why
they're
is
when they're
that,
shopping for these properties, and then when we
Why?
do get the opportunity, it's just like I said. We talked about it earlier. It could be a variety of different things. It's either incompetence, which I don't want to say that anybody on
Okay.
city council is incompetent, but
When is the
Or
election?
privately owned property like the
Kyle,
Right.
when is the election?
the election early voting, from what I understand, starts on September 18th. You thought it was September 10th,
September
I thought it was the
18th.
10th.
but I think it's the 18th.
What's today? Today the 6th.
Today's the 6th, but
Today's the
7th.
6th.
Today's the 7th. I'm sorry.
Today's the 7th. So
Yes,
next Saturday will be the 14th.
correct. Yeah, so early voting should start on the 18th, which would be that
All right,
Wednesday.
we're gonna do a podcast with you next Saturday,
Oh, are we?
and I want an answer to that question.
What question?
Why?
Why what?
Why is Statesville not advertising their property? Why are we not even out there?
Yeah,
I want an answer to that question.
you
That
actually
we
want
can-
someone to answer the question
I
that,
want
from
an
city
answer
council on
to
why
the
that hasn't
question.
happened.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's a good question. It really is a good question.
Because that, I mean,
It seems to be a
what's the max
no-brainer,
that
right?
you can, what's the max that you can make at a factory job here? Because that's all that's available. Unless you want to work at McDonald's, unless you want to mow lawns,
I don't
unless you
necess-
want to work in construction.
Right.
Those are the only job opportunities in this city. And this is the city that's got 77 and 40 going like this across it. This place should be booming. Charlotte should be fucking Statesville. We should be Charlotte.
Right. Well, I agree.
Period.
Well, I think both cities could benefit. I think both cities could be big.
Exactly.
Big
but
cities.
you get what I'm saying. This is the crossroads.
You know, another-
What the fuck is Charlotte there?
The cap
What?
that I know of, when you asked about the highest you can make in a factory job, the cap that I know of currently, the highest cap I've ever heard of, with somebody stayed with Amesbury Truth for,
Mhm.
I think it's like 15
Yeah.
to 18 years. You get somewhere close to the 30 mark.
For what?
30,000 a year.
Yeah. No.
Or $30 an hour.
30 an hour. You close to the 30 mark.
That's not too bad.
It's not too bad.
It's a pretty good
It's
deal.
not too bad. But
factory jobs
when
can
you
be
got to pay $10.50 for a roll of paper towels,
Yeah.
for a thing of paper towels,
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, inflation's happening in our supermarkets and in everything else.
Well, if you're making
but
30 an hour, you're probably doing pretty good. But you can
I'm not
probably
making
afford-
30 an hour. I make $21.50 an hour.
That's good. That's
No,
that's
it's
good.
not
Well, that's
good.
That's good
It's
for
not good.
Statesville.
You
It's
know
not
what?
poverty.
No, I'm still fucking renting.
Oh, you're renting
I
this
might as well
property?
be fucking poverty. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't own this house.
Well,
That's why he's trying to get.
You
that's
might
why-
as well be in
that's why he-
poverty.
That's why he's trying to build on that damn piece of land.
You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
No, and
I get
and
it.
I say it like that because of the fact that I don't own this house. And yeah, $21.50 seems like a lot of money, but if you actually want to live, you want to buy a brand new car, or you want to have a car, you want to pay insurance, you want to do all that stuff. Dude, I work 3 jobs. This is one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do this one, I do CCS, and I work
Full factor.
for a factory.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And you know what? I'm not balling, bitch.
you're not balling. Well,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I do. I do know.
Because of the fact that I have to pay out like a motherfucker just to survive, just to get through shit,
Yeah.
just to live semi-comfortable.
And you're not even paying city taxes.
No,
Yeah, that's,
exactly.
yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
yeah, it's a problem. It's a
And I
problem
work
in the
my fucking ass off.
it's a problem in the region as a whole. I mean, the greater Statesville region. It's a problem all around. But I mean, again, the nice thing about it, if we're bringing in businesses, it also
Spikes opportunity.
it spikes opportunity,
Exactly.
and then it also puts businesses in a position where they need to bid for talent. So you're already kind of seeing that in the market right now. Overall, when you have low unemployment, it's really hard to find good help. So then you've got to start poaching people, and when you start poaching people, that's when you start to see wages
Go up.
increase. Because now I've got to, for me to hire a really good insurance person, I've got to go to somebody that's already working at another company, and then or train them from the ground up.
Yeah.
And and so then it's just a matter of how much I'm willing to pay. It's typically cheaper to train someone from the ground up.
I learned so fast.
You learn so fast.
Me
So-
personally, I don't learn that fast, but once I got it,
I'm fantastic.
I'll be better than you.
And
Yeah, well-
fantastic. I'm fantastic.
It's like I told my dad said the same thing. He's like, once I get this, you realize I'm gonna be better than you. I said, well, you do realize while I'm teaching you, I'm also teaching myself new things. So
Exactly.
you're never gonna catch up to me.
Apparently,
Don't get cocky.
Laurie Brown says that absentee voting is what's absentee voting?
Absentee is where you basically you mail it in or you're not in the
Oh
state.
yeah,
or
that's
whatever.
tomorrow.
Oh, it starts tomorrow.
Absentee voting is tomorrow.
Oh, right. Well, so we're getting into the swing of things quite early here.
So let's do it, man. I mean, like, listen, if you out there and if you want to make a difference, and I know that the rhetoric is that, oh, you got to worry about what's going on with government, but you start locally. You start in your own town. You start make changes here.
That's right.
And then you broaden your perspective. Don't wait for the primaries of the
Presidential elections.
Presidential elections.
Yeah.
To vote now.
That stuff-
and get it done.
Well, exactly. It really comes down to if you get in the city council, which I'm pretty sure you will.
Well, we'll see.
You will.
I'm pulling for you.
Because when I said I'm a felon, I can't vote. That means I can't vote federally.
Oh, can you vote locally?
I can vote locally. I
Well,
believe.
But you're not in city limits.
But I can still vote for the city state.
Now, you could go rent a room from Anthony over here, and you'd be in good shape.
I can still vote for city council. I should be able to.
No, not if you're not in city limits, you can't vote.
Oh, so you're directing it to the people that you charge all taxes to.
Yes.
So the people that are making a lot of money vote for the people that they. Reason why they're
Well,
making a lot of money.
unfortunately, that
And-
seems to be the way it works currently. Is the people with a vested interest or like a specific vested interest, connections or whatever it may be. Those seem to be the only ones voting, and that's why you get the kinds of people that you get in office.
Exactly. That's exactly why you vote locally. You do what you got to do. You start it locally, and you can literally change your community in a span of time that you get to see.
Yeah, you can. We're in a
don't
unique
have to say the limit.
position. We're in a unique position right now because if we get the right people elected now, we already have a group of people on city council that are of this mindset, the same economic development mindset that they're ready to do it, but they haven't had a majority for 2 years.
Right.
And we're in the opportunity now. We have the opportunity now to put them in the majority if we don't elect some of the same good old boys and girls.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
So.
I guarantee they're gonna burn a cross in the front of your yard
Well,
after this podcast. That son of a bitch trying to get my daddy out of the damn cemetery. Hang that son of a bitch.
What's so funny is after I ran for mayor, I had that home invasion, which was a scary situation, and I had people approach me thinking that was inspired.
Oh, the scare tactic, you think?
Yeah, that's what people say. I mean, I don't believe that, but I think the
That's
guy
a
was
little bit
just
extreme.
yeah, it is
That's a
extreme.
little extreme.
I don't believe that I shook up the world that much when I ran and already had lost. So,
Yeah.
but it was interesting. Yeah, that home invasion was quite an experience. I've experienced.
It might have been a tactic. Let's just pretend that possibility could be true. It could have been a tactic to keep you from running for any office now because
Again,
of your views.
yeah.
And because of the fact that you're trying to get rid of these old mindsets that's really selfish and selfishly gaining about money. That's what it's all about.
Anthony's kind of a conspiracy theorist.
Kinda.
Says the guy that just at the beginning of the podcast was talking about the guy that was dead for 5 years with the.
The guy that was dead for 5 years. What are you talking
You said
about?
the guy that had
You mistake Dick Cheney for
John
Oh, yeah.
McCain
Well, it's just because
with
I
the
don't get
artificial
into,
heart.
I don't get into federal politics. I just don't. I don't care. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's who we're gonna get. I can't vote. I can't do nothing
You
about
talking
it.
about federal stuff, man? Like, bro, I'm down with the whole healthcare. Depends on cause my taxes they take out of my check because I'm married, but I do married file separate, and they charge me as if I'm single.
Right.
So like the last check I got, something like with just taxes alone, and this is before my insurance and my 401k which is at 7% currently. Before they took out that, taxes alone was 33%.
Wow. Yeah, that's goodness gracious.
High as shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, if you taking that much of my check anyway before
Right. Throw in healthcare.
healthcare and before my retirement plan,
Right.
you might as well give me free healthcare and take that same time.
Yeah, I know, right?
I have an interesting philosophy on that. Like I say, I'm a small government libertarian, but a unique thing I think that we can have departments within our government that compete with the private system.
Right.
I would probably be open to seeing something like that, where maybe there's a public option, but I think we should hold it to a standard.
HSA thing? Is that not the HSA thing?
No, the health savings accounts are very different. A health savings account is something where you can take pre-tax dollars and put it into an account to use for health services.
FSA, I'm sorry.
FSA.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with. I know what that is. I just can't. I'm blanking on it right now.
It's just like you the FSA cards. You pay so much, and like I said, it's a competitive account where you pay so much, and then the government will fill in this extra money so you can use it as a payment account on health bills.
A flexible spending account.
Like kind of a flex spending.
I didn't know if that was government. I didn't know if that was a government thing. Is that a government thing?
As far as I know, I don't know much.
You do?
Yeah, when I say far as I know, that's not the way of saying I'm not exactly sure, but that's what I think.
Well, I don't know much about that specifically, the FSA. I do know a little bit about is it? Maybe it's the same thing I'm thinking. I don't know. Bottom line is, you're right. I don't think we do enough in this country to make sure that people, your health is extremely important.
Right.
It's the most important thing. Going
especially
for you.
Especially if you want to keep me in the factory till I'm 70.
Exactly. So
keep me healthy.
But I don't necessarily think that the government, obviously, if they can do it cheaper, if they can compete with the free market, if they can offer a better product without losing money, then I think that the government should be able to compete.
It's not a free market.
It's not a free market.
Health
you're right.
insurance is not a free market.
It's cornered as hell.
Yeah.
No, it's not cornered. It's you have to have it.
Well, you used to. They removed the mandate.
Name your number.
They removed the number. Well, you have to have it in order to stay healthy, right? Yeah. Is that what you mean? Because they removed the mandate. You no longer are penalized.
Exactly, but you have to have it. I mean, you have to have it.
You can opt out.
Because if you can opt out of it, but go try to pay a doctor to see you. Go try to get a doctor to see you without health insurance.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, you're right.
Because they're going to go,
if you want to be
that's
healthy.
a $450 bill right there.
Yeah. I agree. Why is that screen kind of like? Am I?
Don't pay attention to the computer, dude.
Am I?
It's got nothing to do with you. Don't worry about it.
I'm a nerd, I'm a tech guy.
You're a tech guy.
I'm a techie.
Well, when he leaves, you and I can get into this, and you can show me what the fuck.
Well, when he leaves, I've got to go. I've got to get to Charlotte.
Where are you going?
We're going downtown. We're gonna go.
Who do you got, Khabib or Poirier?
What are you talking about?
UFC.
Oh my God.
I don't watch UFC.
Quick segue.
Wow.
What is
it?
it?
See a basketball game, fag.
No, I'm gonna go watch college football down in Charlotte.
Fag. You don't even know who's fighting tonight?
No, I don't pay any attention to UFC. No, I don't pay attention for the most part to a lot of sports. I do enjoy NFL. I don't even like college football. I'm going down with some friends. I'm not.
We need to get you into some UFC, MMA type thing.
MMA,
you'd be very interested.
It's interesting to me. I've watched Joe Rogan's podcast about MMA, and it's interesting to me the dynamics of anything survival is very interesting to me. And getting the leveraging and trying to get the upper hand and all that. It's very interesting to me. It's interesting to me.
Well, you're fighting for your life.
Physically is very interesting. I mean, having been in a home invasion where I had to literally fight the guy that broke in, it is interesting to me. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's not something that interests me. I just typically don't have the time to watch sports stuff.
You'd rather watch people dribble a ball or run one down a field.
Yeah,
if I have to. Yeah.
If I have, that's fun to watch too.
If I have to. But I don't. I'm not a big fan of basketball either. I'm not a big fan of watching basketball. I do find football enjoyable to watch. I don't really like college football. I don't like the rules in college football. A lot of people like it, but I don't. NFL I really enjoy more than anything. I'll probably watch most of the Panthers games this year, but that's about it. I used to play fantasy football, and I was too good at it. I was beating too many people, and so I retired a few years ago. So
I guarantee you didn't. I I guarantee that's not the reason.
Oh, it is. I did.
You were too
quite
good
well.
at it. You were beating people, so you retired.
Well, what was happening
Dude, you
is
know
I was
you can
obsessing
get on
over
You
it.
can get on a website that I know and play their fantasy football game, and you can make.
You're talking about DraftKings?
No.
Is this a black marketplace?
No.
You have to buy in with Bitcoin.
No. Buying with cash.
Oh, do you?
Or
Bitcoin's
you can-
go back up, though.
Yeah, Bitcoin is going back up.
Pay through PayPal.
Or
One
PayPal.
of-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's
Is it
not
like
illegal.
is it a game by game basis? Is this what you're talking about? Like,
No, they have a
you've already missed the
fantasy
first.
football league.
But when you miss the first game, there's no way to get into a league, is there? Because the first
You
game was
can't-
Thursday.
Well, yeah. First game was
Yeah, the first
It was-
NFL game of the regular season was
it's
Thursday.
tomorrow, right?
No, for the Panthers tomorrow, but the Bears played.
I
Oh,
thought
no.
the
Was
I
it
thought
Bears
that
versus
started
Packers
this
on
weekend.
Thursday?
Don't know.
No,
I
they
thought
played. There was a
football
Thursday.
season started this
There was a
weekend.
Thursday game.
Oh.
It was the first game of the regular
Well,
season.
Did you miss it?
Well, you can do fantasy
Yeah, you.
MMA fighters, shit like that too.
Oh, can you? Well,
Yeah.
it seems interesting to me. Like I say, I like that survivalist stuff. But I also, it's just like that in the business world too. I find that even more interesting. I find what it takes to survive in business and be successful in business. I find that extremely interesting because that's also a survival of the fittest kinds of
Well,
You
thing.
ever say, do you
exactly.
find
It's
it
a different
similar?
talent.
I find it's not well. It's similar in the sense that it's a survival game.
Right.
You know, you're constantly having to adapt and learn new techniques and skills. You know, marketing is a constant. Just marketing alone is constantly evolving. Not to mention my specific industry like insurance. I'm also a financial advisor, and the markets are always changing. You know, so I find all that very interesting, and that's typically where I devote most of my spare time is honing those skills and trying to make sure that I'm not blindsided by some new guy coming
if
in.
I was like you, I have a lot more money. I spend my time watching UFC fights.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's value in anything where if you're watching the sport. One of the main reasons I really enjoy football, and one of the main reasons I like to see anything in the arts, like watching a good singer,
Yeah.
is somebody that pushes themselves. We have a lot, we do karaoke.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the really good singers, anybody can catch a tune and do all that, but the really good singers are the ones that really push themselves. They've not only mastered the art, but they also push the limits. And then, some of the best singers, they're the ones that seem to sing higher and higher and higher every time, they get on the stage.
What the?
Like, how the heck? I didn't know that your voice could even go that high. Like,
yeah.
physically, I didn't know it was physically possible. Or that you get onto the football field and that person that they've seen them in the training camps. They can run blank yards per second, and then they're able to, in the heat of battle, push that limitation and go even faster.
Yeah.
Or power drive through 3 or 4 people. I mean, that's enjoyable to me. I like to see people pushing beyond their limitations.
Yeah.
It's one of the most interesting things that you can do, but that also applies in the business world too. So, but whatever it takes for you to watch and get yourself motivated and inspired, that's on you. And for a lot of people, that is MMA and UFC and all that good stuff. Yeah.
I will say Poirier is going to have to
Whoever
push
this is.
himself tonight to beat up Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't see him winning. But honestly, I don't. I ain't gonna lie.
That's not even a joke.
I honestly don't see him winning. But but I don't mind. I'll play devil's advocate. I'll say go for it.
I say go for it too. Dude, Khabib hasn't fought since he fought Conor.
Where's Poirier fighting out of?
I can't remember his last fight.
I said, where's he fighting out of? Like, where's his hometown?
What?
Where's he from?
Is he an American or what?
Poirier? Daniel Poirier? Is it Daniel Poirier?
You guys are on a whole. You've left my field of expertise.
I think if he's an American, I'm always gonna pull for the American, and that's not a popular thing, especially when
I think he's
Are
American.
you?
I'm gonna pull for the
think he
American
is.
because especially when Anderson Silva was fighting Chael Sonnen.
Yeah.
Man, I got so much flack for pulling for Chael.
Yeah.
I was like, listen, I understand that guy's really good and he's the fan favorite, and I love him.
So you want to do that, right?
I want to pull for
You
the
want to throw a
American.
$20 bet on it?
Yeah, all right, I do that.
$20 bet. Oh, right. I see. I don't ever bet on anything I don't know about. So.
How long?
Bet
No,
$20 against him
20
right now. With Khabib.
Listen, 20.
Trust me.
$20 of
Cash.
no, $20 of
Cash.
$20 of Mountain
Cash.
Dew because betting cash is illegal. $20 of Mountain
Yeah.
Dew.
For the public records, yeah.
I'm not blinking shit. $20 cash is a gentleman's bet.
I'm saying, gentlemen's bet.
You're not bringing me no fucking Mountain Dew.
I'm
I
not
want
gonna bring
cash.
I'm not gonna
I
bring
want
you
a
that
20
Mountain Dew.
crisp dollar bill. Just hand that to me.
Do you not drink Mountain Dew? I hear bad things about Yellow 5. You gotta be careful about Yellow 5.
No,
Yeah,
you don't know
yeah, I'm
Anthony.
good.
Anthony be like, he'll wink at me, be like, a Mountain Dew, right? And I'll be like, yeah, Mountain Dew. And then he'll bring me fucking Mountain Dew. No, cash, motherfucker. American currency. $20. You know you just lost.
I'm gonna bring him $20
And he's kind of
in
getting
quarters.
mad. No, cash. I already said, Chris, $20
You
bill.
said $20 cash.
$20 cash. Yeah, that's
$20 in pennies.
coins.
You about to-
Coins is a cash
Yeah, I
changer.
said, so you at least have to bring me once. $20. Cash. $20 in quarters would be $20 in coin.
Well, first, so you don't even know that you're very confident you're gonna win this. Anthony
Yeah,
seems to
you
know.
don't
that-
know who Khabib Nurmagomedov is, bro.
I'm pulling for an upset, and it will be a major upset if it happened. Major upset.
You don't know who Khabib Nurmagomedov is. Like, if he walked in here, I'd be like, Anthony, get him. And I'd be like, come with me.
Come with you.
Because I know he's going to walk through him.
No, I'm just.
And he's probably half his
You're gonna
size.
should him probably if it.
No,
if
I'm
it-
just
if
gonna
it
leave.
comes down to
I'm
that.
like,
He's like, no.
I'm gonna
He's like,
shake
they're
his
gone.
hand.
I'm out of here.
I'm gonna shake his hand. I'm gonna ask him for his autograph,
And then you're out of here.
and make sure he's happy with everything that I've had to say.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, that guy's a fucking killer.
He's like, no.
Yeah,
He wrestled bears when he was 6 years old.
literally.
Bears.
Literally.
Fully grown bears.
No,
Yeah.
no,
No,
it was-
fully
Cubs.
grown bears,
no,
but they were
he was a
they were Russian
6-year-old
bears.
wrestling bear cub.
Oh, really?
Quite
Interesting.
literally.
That's-
No. They were fully grown bears, but they weren't black bears or grizzly bears like we see. Wow, big ones. They actually have bears that stand about 3 foot tall,
Right.
but they're full grown. I forget what the name.
I thought it was a cub.
Like a koala bear.
It looks like a cub. I thought it was too, but
thought
it's
it was a cub.
actually a little. It's
Yeah, but
what you know how
he
you
was
always see
grappling
the.
with the bear. And
Yeah,
at
he was- he
6
grappled
years
with the
old,
bear.
and that's fucking
So
ridiculous.
Interesting.
Regardless,
Well, I mean, all whatever floats your boat, I guess.
Wait, from Dagestan?
Dagestan, yeah.
Dagestan.
Dagestan.
Yeah, that's in Russia.
That's over the near
in the,
Russia.
in the,
He wears a big
Caucasus.
white thing on his head.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's a part of his village.
Guy's a monster.
Yeah, he's a savage.
Well, it'll be interesting. I'm sure I'll see it probably in the place we're going to watch these games tonight.
Yeah, you should just hang out here. We're gonna have it on TV.
Are you? Well, I've already committed to this today in Charlotte. Unfortunately, otherwise I would. But
Speaking of which, I'm running low on time.
yeah, so I've also got to leave here soon. But
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I
then
really
we'll
like
wrap it up.
I really like the long format podcast. It gives you a lot more time to really get your ideas out, and
Yeah, exactly. It gives you,
You
the
know,
ability to say what you want to say.
I think that the political system needs this kind of dialogue because for so long, like for example, you watch a presidential debate or anything on TV, and it's like, all right, in 10 seconds or less,
Yeah.
tell us
Yeah.
how you plan to save the world. Like, okay,
I'm gonna stop everything bad that ever's gonna happen ever.
I'm gonna put on the cape and I'm gonna pull a miracle out of my ass.
right.
Watch it. Da, 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 da.
So yeah, it's and same thing. You know, we had a forum, which was a great forum. It was put on by ICTV. You said you watched
Yeah,
it.
I did.
They gave us a little more time. It was about 4-minute stretches, which was real nice to have. But still, I mean, just the opportunity to watch the 3 opportunities to really talk about the issues in Statesville. And what's so interesting to me about the other candidate, you know, I mean, they had 3 minutes to talk and everything, and most of the people that got up there, at least my opponents, you know, really good at naming the statistics. They, which I did when I ran for mayor, you know. So
Yeah.
I've been talking about it for 2 years, and they get up there and are talking about all the statistics that I've been talking about, and then it's like, okay, and I'm waiting on their solutions, right? You know, like, okay, what are they going to do about it? And it
They
never
never got to
never got to that
Never got
part.
to. I watched that.
So it's like, you know, it's
Like,
interesting.
yeah, you can write for lost problems. What the fuck are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, what are you going to do? I mean, we all know the problems at this point. I've been
Yeah.
talking about it myself for 2 years.
And
And
when I've been living it my whole fucking life.
exactly, yeah. Many of us have, yeah. You know, it's what's so interesting is I lived in Statesville for 10 years, like I say, and then we moved, and I lived in Sylva, North Carolina for about 5 years, and then I went to high school all 4 years in Matthews, North Carolina, and right outside of Charlotte.
Mhm.
Then I went to college in Charlotte, and then I came back to Statesville. And having experienced all of that, you know, Sylva wasn't it was also a pretty poor town. but Matthews and Charlotte, obviously just this metropolis, and then you get back to Statesville. It's just interesting. So I have a really interesting perspective, and I've seen what stagnant towns look like, and I've seen what progressive and thriving and growing towns look like, and I also see the policies. At least that's what I studied, public policy.
Yeah, so you
I
have ideas to implement that's been proven to work.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I've looked at what other cities have done successfully and what other cities have done very unsuccessfully. So, and I think that's what we need now. And I promise you, I won't stay in for 20 years like some of these guys. If you guys put me in, I'm going to get in, get the job done, and get out.
Well, but you don't want to allow a successor to ruin everything you did.
Yeah, but then he'll just come back.
Oh, yeah, I'll come back again. I'll forever haunt them.
Yeah, like Jesus.
3 years later.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by CCS Off-Road. For all your off-road needs.
Sounds like a great company.
Come to us.
A bike like this over here?
Yeah, there's the motor.
That's a motorcycle.
Oh, you're talking about bicycles?
No, we're talking
No.
about
I'm talking about off-road.
ATVs. Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, that bike's for sale.
Well, if you need to put insurance on them, you let us know.
There we go.
We specialize in
What are we talking about?
Allstate. Are you in good hands?
All right. That's at Houston Solutions.
Houston Solutions. Houston Solutions is the radio show that I do on Wednesday mornings on WAME. We only have 30. Well, I only do 30. I can only afford 30 minutes. I can't. I can't get on there for 2 hours. It'd be great, I'm sure, but 30 minutes is hard enough. I go in there. I usually wing it. Well,
sir, welcome to the Empty Tumbler.
This is what we do. Well, I'm sure we're gonna have you back. Not talking about politics, but
sure, we can talk about all kinds of things.
Coming and hanging out and having a good time with everybody else.
I really enjoy emerging tech and all that good stuff. How our world is changing so rapidly.
Exactly.
Automation and artificial intelligence. The singularity.
Love talking tech, dude.
I'm
We're
so
gonna get
scared
into
of
it.
a Terminator thing.
I love talking
Yeah.
tech. Let's get into it next time.
Yeah, let's do it.
Kyle Houston, everybody, vote for him on.
Absentee ballots can start tomorrow, it seems, and September 18th, early one-stop voting starts, which means that you can vote. You can get registered to vote and vote all at the same time.
Okay, and how can people get a hold of you on social media?
Social media, you find me just look up Kyle Houston, the Statesville guy. I'm wearing a suit in the picture, so you should be able to narrow me down real quick if there's other Kyle Houstons out there. We've also got the City Council page on Facebook, Kyle Houston for City Council, Ward 4. And we've got our business pages on there as well, Kyle Houston Allstate. So I'm pretty very well broadcasted on social media.
Really accessible.
Yeah, it's very accessible.
Well, check them out, people, and we will see you next Saturday.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for having us. Thank you, Kyle. Oh, get your face. Ain't like that.